It brings a smile, that special feeling you get when baseballs pound the leather and fly through the sky. It's something to celebrate. We're ready to get loose and swing the bat. Say hello to the On Deck Minor League Baseball Game of the Week from Nashville. Coming up next. We are at First Tennessee Park, brand new home of the Nashville Sounds. And tonight they will host the Salt Lake City Bees. This evening's On Deck Minor League Game of the Week. Hi again, everybody. I'm Dick Gabriel, along with former big league infielder Doug Flynn. Welcome to Music City, but to us the music, of course, is ball against bat and ball against glove, and it's going to be a great night for baseball and a great place.
You know, I'm right in my element here. You got baseball where I'm comfortable, and you got country music where I'm really comfortable.
And we're going to find out more about that tonight, and what a ballpark. It's the newest facility in all of professional baseball.
It's outstanding. We've had a chance to be on the field and tour around and see some of the suites as well as some of the concession stands and meet the folks. Dick, when they did this park, they did it first class.
There's a great look shooting in from center field, but as you look out, there is downtown Nashville. What a vista. So many ballparks have chosen that kind of look, and it's a great one here. This is the site near downtown where they played baseball at Sulphur Dell Park from 1870 to 1963.
No, I did not play in that era, but it is certainly impressive. And when you look at the scoreboard, which is right in front of that great view of downtown, it's shaped like a guitar. It is spectacular. Tonight, being Throwback Thursday, we're going to see a little bit of black and white, then we're going to see a little bit of color.
And we're going to see a lot of great players, including one in particular for Salt Lake City who is happy he's in the lineup on defense as well as offense.
Well, that's true. We're talking about Kyle Kubica. Now, he's been used as a DH and a third baseman. He leads all of baseball, or actually second in all of baseball in doubles with 19. And when he plays third base, he hits about 300 as a DH 232. He's glad to be over the hot corner tonight.
And a hot bat in the Nashville lineup as well, a guy crushing the ball right now.
Well, that's true. That's Jason Pridey we're talking about. In the last 40 games, he has 19 extra base hits. He's driven in 25. They're hoping that's going to continue tonight.
It's a gorgeous night for baseball and a wonderful place for a ball game. First Tennessee Park in Nashville. Back with starting lineups in just a minute. It's the On Deck Minor League Baseball Game of the Week.
Minor League Baseball on CBS Sports Network is being brought to you by On Deck, a leading provider of small business loans nationwide. Visit OnDeck.com to see how On Deck can take your business to the next level.
We're back in Nashville. Dick Gabriel and Doug Flynn, our partner Lauren Gardner, on assignment tonight, so we'll try to move along without her. She missed a great place like the Parthenon here in Nashville. Here is the way the Salt Lake City Bees will come to the plate. Daniel Robertson will lead things off, playing left field, followed by Alex Yarbrough, a switch hitter at second base. Kyle Kubica, Doug told you about him and the hot bat he swings when he plays third base. C.J. Cron, former first-round draft pick of the Angels, batting cleanup tonight, followed by Ryan Jackson, the DH, a .326 hitter against left-handers. Josh Rutledge, former third-round pick at shortstop. Roger Kieschnick is also effective against lefties, hits .324 against left-handers. Gary Brown is in center field. Charlie Cutler with an 8-game hitting streak, and they will face a left-hander, and that's Ryan Verdugo, who is from Pasadena, California, played his college ball in Baton Rouge at LSU. There you get a good look at his numbers. 4 starts on the season, but the last time out, he pitched out of the bullpen for the same Nashville Sounds. They got a 6-1 win over Las Vegas back on May 30th right here at First Tennessee Park. Here's the way the Sounds will play defense. Across the outfield, Pridey, Gentry, and Kent Mathis. Around the horn, Matt Carson, Ryan Roberts, Joey Wendle, Anthony Aliotti at first base, and Brian Anderson behind the plate. Perfect night for baseball. A few clouds in the sky. It's a little bit warm this afternoon, but it has given way to a cool evening here in the Music City, and we are just about ready for baseball. So glad to have you with us with the On Deck Minor League Baseball Game of the Week. And Ryan Verdugo off to a good start, and we are told by someone in our truck who speaks Spanish very well that Verdugo allegedly means executioner, so we'll see how well he executes.
And we know that no one in the truck would ever mislead us on any information. You know, looking at Verdugo, he's a guy that throws about 90 to 94. Of course, when you're left-handed, that can be extremely effective with that kind of speed. He throws a four-seamer, been working on a two-seamer, has a good slider, and right now he's got a changeup that is outstanding. So he's also working on a curveball, so pretty soon they'll need two hands to put down the signs.
And he has Daniel Robertson dancing out of the right-handed batter's box. It seemed like every pitcher we heard about on this Nashville roster either has a great changeup or is working on one.
And that to go along with the fact that most of them throw 90 to 95 mile an hour.
We are in the Pacific Coast League tonight, which you would expect with Salt Lake City, but Nashville part of the PCL, and a nice pickup by Anthony Aliotti. Let's take a look now at tonight's IMG Academy keys to success.
All right, well, nice play there at first base, quite obviously. But for Salt Lake Bees, they need to get some consistency from Zach Stewart. Here's a guy that pitched up through 7 innings with a perfect game in the big leagues at one time. So hoping he can get back to the form that got him to that patience at the plate from Crone and Jackson. Both of them fighting a little bit with the strike zone. And so if they can just learn to hit strikes, it'll be wonderful. For Nashville, this is a ballpark, Dick, where it's hard to hit home runs. Good fastball there, but the ball doesn't carry very well in this ballpark. So they're going to have to learn to keep the ball down and also utilize some of these great arms. They've got about 10 guys that throw over 90.
Those are tonight's IMG Academy keys to success. And to Doug's point, we were watching batting practice and maybe saw 2 balls leave the ballpark in about a 20-minute round, so it just doesn't really carry that well. But as Doug said, they make adjustments, and of course the pitchers like that, they make it work for themselves with good pitching and defense.
And you know, most of the ballparks in the Pacific Coast League are hitters ballparks. We got a chance to see that last year. The ball carries, but not back here.
Of course, we had a game in Salt Lake City last year. We had a wonderful time at that ballpark. Speaking of ballparks where it will carry, we were talking about topping 90. Verdugo, that last pitch, 91. Took something off it.
That time got a good look at the changeup. Been throwing fastball up and away. That time with a good change.
81 miles an hour, and there's a good look at this gorgeous field here. And you can see it's a poke down the left field line. Not too bad in right, but straight away 403 in the alleys. You really have to carry the ball to hit one out at First Tennessee Park. That was Alex Yarbrough down on strikes. Now Kyle Kubica, 290 hitter. 3 homers. He's driven in 26.
Got a chance to talk about him the first part of the game. You know, there's a lot of big league experience on both these teams, but especially on this Salt Lake City team. Some guys that have been up and down, maybe just have been sent back down to get some at-bats or just weren't quite cutting it at the big league level right now.
You know, we talked about making adjustments at the plate, especially if you don't play here all the time, not going yard, but defensively, if you're an outfielder, you have to learn the walls here at First Tennessee Park. They take interesting turns out there, especially in right center and left center field. There you see the way the wall sort of juts in and out. You got to learn how to play the caroms. You infielders never had to worry about that. You had to worry about the dirt.
Well, sometimes you got to go out the ball hit hard and the outfielder may run into a wall, so you're always running out that way. But you're right, we're all very particular about where we played, whether it be the infield or the outfield. But I think with these new ballparks, we've seen some interesting configurations and a lot of designers putting their own stamp on it.
And Kubica keeps swinging that hot bat as long as he's in the lineup, and Gentry can't make a clean pickup. And Kubica into second base. We'll see how they score it. But a runner in scoring position for Salt Lake City with 2 out.
Well, that might be his baseball leading 20th double. We'll see how they score that. But he was rounding first as if he was going to second all the way.
And it looks like they'll give him a double. That's number 20. But a good piece of hitting here in this ballpark. Just hit line drives and try to shoot the gaps. Now C.J. Crone, a 2011 first-round pick by the Angels, standing in with an average of .344, a couple of homers. He's driven in 6.
Well, here's a guy that's been in the big leagues. He's coming down here because he just needed to get some more ABs. And this will be an opportunity for him, talking with hitting instructor Johnny Nairn before the game, who said right now he just needs some at-bats. That's the biggest thing with him.
Well, he began the season with the Angels. Native of Fullerton, California, 6'4", 235. And he's one of the guys we saw hit it out in batting practice, which is no surprise.
And if I remember correctly, he went straight away center field too, or did he go left center? Some outstanding power, and as you're right, Dick, we watched both teams hit, and we saw very few balls go out of this ballpark.
Thrown out of the University of Utah, where he was a two-time first-team All-American and a semifinalist for the Golden Spikes Award 2011, and a two-time semifinalist for the Dick Hauser Trophy. Good off-speed pitch. 3 balls and 1 strike. Took a little something off.
About 3-0, and you come back with a changeup. That's respect for this hitter, and you don't want to give him anything too good to hit.
Hitters count. So runners at first and second now with 2 out for Salt Lake City, and Ryan Jackson will try to keep things going.
They've been very high on this young man, hitting 284, but right now he's just trying to get command of that strike zone. And you've heard that expression, expanding the zone, so many times when you get 2 strikes. Well, you don't want to expand it so much that you're swinging at bad pitches. And so right now he's just trying to find some consistency doing that.
Spent last year in El Paso at the AAA level, as well as with the Arizona League Padres, native of Miami. There you see a good look at Ryan Verdugo. Retired the first 2 that he faced, including a strikeout, but now a walk following a double and trying to work out of a jam. Boy, Jackson just couldn't commit. 5th round draft pick of the St. Louis Cardinals back in '09. Spent time with the Astros organization, Dodgers, the Royals. Trying to find his way to the bigs. Second strikeout of the inning. Couldn't have come at a better time for Ryan Verdugo. The Bees strand 2 will go to the bottom of the 1st. No score in Nashville with the on-deck minor league baseball game of the week. Back at First Tennessee Park in Nashville, Dick Gabriel, Doug Flynn. No score after 1/2 innings. Salt Lake City and the Nashville Sounds. Here's the way Nashville will come to the plate. Craig Gentry leads things off, followed by Joey Wendle. Then it's Ryan Roberts. They call him the Tat Man. Jason Priday swinging a big bat so far this year. Nate Fryman batting in the 5 hole. He's the DH, followed by former SEC Player of the Year Kent Mathis, Brian Anderson, Matt Carson, and Anthony Aliotti batting 7, 8, 9, and they will be facing that young man, Zach Stewart, looking for his first win as a starter and his first overall win since April the 30th. He's pitched in 6 games with 5 starts in May, but has not yet been able to capture a decision. But a 2.91 ERA, leading all the Bees starters for the month of May, and that's the way the Bees will play defense. Robertson, Brown, and Krishnik across the outfield. Kubica, Rutledge, Yarbrough, and Crone around the horn. Charlie Cutler behind the plate tonight for Salt Lake City.
Stewart with a good fastball, and he also throws a good cutter. That's the 2 main pitches that he'll be throwing tonight. But he's been working on a slurve. He doesn't really have a slider. And, of course, he's got a changeup, as most of these guys we've been seeing do.
Well, you know, and you can throw a changeup, but can you really master it? And when you do, you know all too well how deadly that can be.
Well, we've seen a lot of pitchers get by on just 2 pitches, the fastball and the change, and been very successful at every level. As long as you're changing speed and location and changing that eye view or the eye level of that hitter, you're going to be good.
Well, he laid one in there for Craig Gentry. That one got away from Stewart, up and out over the plate, and Gentry knew just what to do with it. Joined the ball club just Monday and is already producing. And now Joey Wendle. 5 home runs, 24 runs batted in on the year. Ranked number 17 among the Oakland A's prospects right now. Broke in with the Indians organization out of Wilmington, Delaware. Played at Westchester University in Pennsylvania, where he was the Scholar Athlete of the Year in 2011 while he was batting .346. Talked about the Dick Hauser Award. Well, this young man was on the Tino Martinez watch list as a collegian. That's given to the D2 Player of the Year, and he was on that watch list for 3 straight seasons.
Gentry's kind of an interesting story. As a kid, 31 years of age, has got some good time, almost 4 years or close to 4.5 years in the big leagues, a .270 hitter. Well, sometimes the timing's just lousy for guys to get to the big leagues because of what the big league club already has in store and in place.
Oakland picked up Wendle from the Indians back in December. Back in 2013, this young man hit 16 home runs in the Indians minor league change. Is one shy of topped in the Indians minor league system. They named him the Lou Boudreau Indians minor league player of the year. But like you said, just sometimes it's right place, right time. And by the way, you get a good look at the, we haven't mentioned the throwback jerseys. Those jerseys represent the Nashville Vols. We'll tell you more about them as the game evolves. But once upon a time, yeah, even the minor league baseball team here in Nashville was known as the Vols. There's a school over in Knoxville that has a team with that nickname. People around here are pretty fond of them.
They really do look good.
Sellout crowd here at First Tennessee Park. Number 7 on the year. Runner goes, hit and run, and an easy steal for Gentry as Wendle strikes out protecting the runner.
You saw a good look at that change up here. Ball just goes straight down. And a huge jump by Gentry, so really didn't have a play at all.
Wendle also protecting himself, trying to find a way on, but you saw that pitch dive into the dirt. So now Ryan Roberts. 16 runs batted in, batting .311. That is why they call him the Tat Man. His illustrated arms.
Yes, said he had over 30 tattoos on his body.
Ouch. It's a lot of time in the chair.
And tell you what, it hadn't affected his playing. Boy's hitting good, playing outstanding defense. Kind of has that Dustin Pedroia look going there.
Say, you got to like that beard.
I like anybody's beard. I can't grow one.
Out of Fort Worth, Texas. 18-round draft pick of the Toronto Blue Jays back in '03. Played baseball at UT Arlington, where he was the Southland Conference Player of the Year, and majored in kinesiology.
Really?
A friend of mine majored in that once. I made the mistake of looking at one of his textbooks. Spent the rest of the day confused, much like most of my days. Hammered, but it's a big ballpark, or at least it plays big, and Gary Brown hauls it in. 2 out.
Ball hit right on the nose.
Yep.
But as you said, a big ballpark, and the ball sounds a little different in this park too. And for some reason, heavy air, doesn't seem to be a lot of breeze. Flags don't blow very much, but the ball just does not carry as well as it does in some of the other PCL parks.
So now a quick mound visit. Charlie Cutler chatting with Zach Stewart. A reminder perhaps that Jason Pridey can hurt you with that bat in a lot of ways. Former 2nd-round draft pick of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now you see his season numbers, but boy, over the last few weeks, just really crushing it. .90 miles an hour for Stewart. Friday in his 14th professional season. 92, I should say. 14th professional season. This is his 7th organization.
That's another good-looking beard there.
Friday, we mentioned, with the Rays organization, the Twins traded for him in 07. Spent time with the Mets, the Phillies, the Orioles organization, the Rockies. And his major league debut with the Twins back on September 3rd of 08. A good souvenir. Won a ring with the Southern League champion Montgomery Biscuits in 06. One of my favorite nicknames in minor league baseball.
We had a good cut at that fastball. Just looks solid at the plate.
Yep.
It's almost as if we got the House of David team here playing from years ago. Throwback uniforms, the big beards.
Gets away from Cutler. And that is out number 3. So the Sounds put a man aboard, but that's where he remains. There's no score in Nashville. The on-deck minor league baseball game of the week. Back in Nashville, Tennessee, home of the Sounds, who are hosting the Salt Lake City Bees in our minor league baseball game of the week. And we are proud to be joined by the owner of the Sounds, Frank Ward, who is as proud as he can be about this brand new ballpark. You told me it turned out pretty much the way you'd hoped.
Oh yeah, it did. The way we designed it, I'm thrilled with how it came out. Very happy with what I had envisioned it being.
Your background is you're a businessman and real estate and things like that, but deep down, when it comes to baseball, you're a big old kid, aren't you? You love this.
Of course, this is, when I grew up, this is the first thing you did. You had a ball, a bat, and a glove, but you didn't need the glove. And you went and you just played, whether it was out in the streets or in the sand lot. So I grew up with baseball.
And Nashville is a great city in terms of history, is it not? When it comes, we talked about the Sulphurdale Park.
So baseball started during the Civil War. During the Civil War here. I mean, in Sulphurdale from 1870 to 1963, baseball was played here. And some of the greatest players of all time have come through and played in Sulphurdale. I mean, when spring training broke in Florida and the major leagues were going north, they would stop here. I mean, we've had Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, Satchel Paige, Shoeless Joe Jackson, Casey Stengel.
Wow.
I mean, they've all played here. It's amazing.
Well, we noticed that you have a lot of, as you walk around the ballpark, you get a chance to see a lot of the pictures, and you've saved some of that history just by way of murals or by way of letting people know exactly who all was here. So it's beautiful the way you've designed this.
Let's switch mics for just a moment with Frank. I think we have a gremlin in the system somewhere. Go ahead. I think that one's probably working now anyway. Give it a try there, Frank. All right. There you go.
Oh, that's better.
Oh, that's wonderful.
That's much better. There you
Well,
go.
we asked, when you get a mic that clear, we ask you to sing a little bit too. Right? Okay.
You don't want me to sing, trust me. Yeah, we tried to pay tribute to all the people that have played here, you know, the stars, the non-stars, you know, and we've depicted different murals in the directional signage of the old-time players to the new players, to Junior Gilliam, to, you know, Grant Rice, who was not a baseball player, but came from Nashville and dubbed this place called the Dump.
Well,
because it was next to the
Speaking
city
of
dump.
Junior Gilliam, you guys afforded him a great honor. Tell everybody what you did here.
When this first was built here, this was Jackson Street, and we went through Metro Council and we changed it to honor Junior Gilliam, native Nashvilleian, and it was just this week approved to be Junior Gilliam Way.
wow.
The building will become 19 Junior Gilliam Way, which was his number.
Well, I hate to tell you, but Roger Kieschnick just took your guys deep. So we've been talking about how it takes a real shot to hit it out of this ballpark, and that's exactly what he did to give Salt Lake City a 1-0 lead.
That ball was smoked. As you
man.
said, you have to hit it really good to get it out of here. Hit it where that fence bows a little bit in. Part of the design here and the uniqueness of this ball field. I believe that ball would have been out anywhere. It was hit pretty
Yes,
good.
it looked well hit.
You know, Junior Gilliam, I mean, what a great player he was with the Dodgers. And, you know, he's one of those guys. I started doing a little research when we saw that, and it turns out that he was not only a good ball player, but he must have been just an awesome person. Everyone that played with him said he was the ideal team person, selfless, volunteer, just did everything. And so what a tribute to a great man.
Right, he spent 16 years with the Dodgers, and look, we're honored to be able to do that. It was our pleasure to be able to honor a local Nashvilleian in this way, and I thank the Metro Council who made it happen for me.
Frank, I know you split time between New York, where your main business keeps you, but I know your daughter went to college here. You love Nashville, and I'm so pleased, and I guess was pleasantly surprised by the great crowds. I know Nashville's always been a great minor league baseball town, but everybody knows it, of course, for the music. Great baseball town, isn't it?
It's always been a great baseball town, and as our previous stadium, Greer, got older and older, you know, it became less attractive to the fans to come out. But since this opened, everyone has loved it. They're all having a great time, whether you like baseball, you just want a nice evening out with the family. It's just a great environment.
But it took quite a while to get it done, and I know you deal with that in real estate all the time. But you know, and there's also politics involved. But everybody had to be patient, right?
Yeah, I mean, we bought the team. My partner and I bought it in 2008, and it took us till 2013 to get there. But again, the mayor and the city council were totally behind us and helping us get it done.
Okay, Frank, whose idea was it with the guitar for the scoreboard?
Mine.
Brilliant.
Well, again, I can't take total credit. We had one at Greer. It was older, but I wanted a guitar scoreboard, the video board, because that is Nashville.
Yes, it
That's
is.
an iconic piece that says, we are Music City, and this is part of who we are.
When you come to the ballpark, can you put the owner and the businessman to bed a little bit and just enjoy the baseball game? I know how big a fan you are.
Of course, I walk around. I just enjoy the game, enjoy chatting with people. It's a lot of fun. It's just, it's a business, yes,
Yeah.
first. But if you can't have fun in your business, get out of your business.
Okay, we've said this with traveling over the last couple of years with some of the owners of ball clubs. Have they got you on the field yet in a pair of boots, pulling out the tarp or dusting off the bases or anything yet?
No, no, and they will not. They will not. You know, I'm a little old for that right now.
Well, you look like you're in great shape.
Yeah, but I'm still getting up.
And you say you walk around. Do you talk to the fans and ask them for their feedback on the ballpark and things like that?
Surprisingly, I don't have to ask.
They come to you.
They tell me what they're feeling. Sometimes they have an issue or something, and we deal with it. But yes, I go around and I want the fans to know our whole organization is here to make them happy, to have their be enjoyable, and I'm very accessible to anyone who wants to talk to me, plus or minus. But most of it's pluses, thank God.
Of course.
I've got a lot of buddies that live down here. I'm a huge country music fan. We have a few coming to the game this evening, but the one thing they talk about is they're obviously baseball fans, but what a great job that you've done. When you look at the backdrop, this is just another ribbon put on, or another part of the bow put on Nashville, that they are so excited about this new park and how they can come out and have such a good time.
Right, and I will give all the credit in the world to Mayor Dean for picking this location with this backdrop, because it was his vision that said it should go here. And he was
wonderful.
absolutely correct.
Yeah. And you know, the other thing too, you got to love about Nashville, I know people in this town are very proud. It's a big league city. I mean, you've got a AAA ball team. You've got the NFL. You've got the NHL. You've got a Southeastern Conference school in Vanderbilt. There's a lot to like if you're a sports fan in this town.
Oh yeah, 365 days a year. There is something going on here, and for everyone to enjoy themselves. And the fans are just great fans and having a great time.
Thank you so much for having us.
A pleasure.
For dropping by, and enjoy the rest of the night.
Thank you, and thank you for coming.
You bet. Thanks, Frank.
Frank Ward, who watched that big fly, put Salt Lake City ahead of the Nashville Sounds. Back in a minute. It's the On Deck Minor League Baseball Game of the Week.
Thanks, Frank.
1-0 Salt Lake leading Nashville here in the bottom of the second inning. CBS Sports Network bringing you more minor league baseball action presented by On Deck next Thursday, 8 o'clock Eastern, with a Texas League showdown between the Royals and Dodgers AA affiliates, the Northwest Arkansas Naturals and the Tulsa Drillers, right here on the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Dick Gabriel, Doug Flynn back here at First Tennessee Ballpark.
Hey, I'm glad the ball doesn't carry here. Good night. That was a bomb we saw back there as we were talking with Frank. But we got a hanging breaking ball, it looked like, and just deposited in that little part of the outfield where the fence comes in a little bit. But, Dick, I don't think there was any part going to hold that one.
You know, the one thing that we heard in BP about, well, we heard that, of course, it doesn't carry well here. But everybody said, now, if you get one, it'll go.
Yeah, well, they said
exactly what happened.
Yeah, just no cheap ones. That's
yeah.
right.
Yeah. Nate Fryman standing in now, trying to get things started this year. Just a 205 average with 6 runs batted in. Stats updated from 188. And Nate, something of a newlywed, his Duke University classmate Amanda Blumenhurst is his wife. She was an outstanding golfer at Duke and now is a member of the LPGA Tour. So 2 professional athletes in the family. That's a good-looking couple right there, ladies and gentlemen. And he hammers one in the gap. Daniel Robertson, though, runs it down for out number 1, and that's the kind of ball we saw in batting practice, and you can see the look in his face.
That look says every bit that you need to know. Yep. Ball is hit good, right in the left field gap. It just took off out of the bat very good, and then it just, boom, it dies.
And I was talking to some of the coaching staff before the game, and I said, has anybody started bugging Nate to get golf tips out of his wife? Not yet, so that may be coming. But imagine the genes that they're going to be mixing when they start having kids.
And he's a big rascal, a lot of athletic ability there. Both of them, nice-looking couple.
Hand-eye coordination in that family is going to be outstanding. Here's Kent Mathis, former Southeastern Conference Player of the Year at Alabama.
You probably covered him quite a bit, haven't you, sir?
Did indeed, and also Josh Rutledge at shortstop for the other guys. And a good look at Zach Stewart.
Well, you got to feel pretty confident when you take that hill, though, that you're not going to give up too many cheap ones.
Yep.
I mean, they're going to have to earn it. But that look said it all that we just saw on Fryman.
We talked a lot about the history of Nashville and this ball club with Frank Ward and the fact that they played at Sulphur Dell and Herschel Greer and now here at First Tennessee.
Heads up.
Back in the day, this was a AA ball club, joining the Southern League in 1978 and became a AAA city in 1985.
That ball was right at the Gatlin boys. I hope it was Steve that had a chance to catch it.
Kubica with an easy pickup, 2 out. Sounds have had some great teams in their history. In fact, they won the PCL championship in '05, beating the Tacoma Rainiers. A sweep, actually. They also won the Southern League in '79. That's back when they were the AA affiliate of your Cincinnati Reds.
Thank you.
And again, as the AA affiliate of the New York Yankees in '82, they won the Southern League title. But they're most proud of a couple of different teams. The 1980 ball club has been named one of the greatest in minor league history, and the 1940 team, and in fact, these are the uniforms they're wearing tonight to commemorate that team as Brian Anderson lifts one into the gap. I'll tell you more about them a little bit later on, but 3 up, 3 down, nothing across for Nashville here at Music City, home of the Country Music Hall of Fame. Back in a minute, it's the On Deck Minor League Baseball Game of the Week. In Nashville, Salt Lake leading the Sounds 1-0. Dick Gabriel, Doug Flynn, glad to have you along on the On Deck Minor League Baseball game of the week. As the sun has set, it's a cool evening here in Music City and a gorgeous spot here in Tennessee for minor league baseball. The Bees sending the top of the order Daniel Robertson to the plate. Bounced out to first base to open the game his last time up. Talked a lot about the history of the Sounds, and of course, as we said, we were fortunate enough to visit Salt Lake City last year, where they've got some great history of their own to the Bees, formerly known as the Stingers and the Buzz.
Got a good chance to talk with manager Dave Anderson, guy that came up to the big leagues in the early 80s, about the time I was getting out. Was a good infielder for the Dodgers for a lot of years. Good look at him, third base. Now been in the game 35 years.
How about that? 9 years as a manager. This is his first year with the Bees as the manager. He was in Frisco last year.
Boy, loves the game. And you have to when you spend that much time. And that's a rip down the third base line.
You talked about keeping the ball on the ground. That's what Robertson did, into second base easily with a double, and the leadoff man in scoring position for Salt Lake City.
And he got a pitch and just turned on it. Hit the ball hard the first time the other way. This time, though, looks like a fastball just up about belt high, right across the middle of the plate. He knows he's got two on this one. No chance for a play on that ball. Even if you're guarding the line, it's going to be a tough play.
Just the third base hit on the current road trip for Robertson, but he breaks loose in a big way with that at bat. Now an opportunity for Alex Yarbrough.
You can tell runs are tough to come by here, because this early in the game, playing some small ball, trying to get the runner to third base. And Yarbrough, the player of the year last year in the Texas League.
Well, trying to get that average jacked up a little bit. Being asked to move the runner up, perhaps, if he can get a pitch. But Verdugo doing everything he can to keep Yarbrough from successfully sacrificing the runner, but in doing so, falls behind 2-0. Yarbrough struck out swinging his last time up. Mentioned Dave Anderson's pro career, was an All-American at the University of Memphis. Only one play for Anderson, and he makes it. Successful sacrifice for Alex Yarbrough. Yeah, here in the third inning, small ball already.
Well, you're bringing up a guy who's a very good hitter. You have to like that. You know, ballparks have reputations. If you go into Wrigley Field, you're looking to see which way the wind's blowing, and if it's blowing in.
Now, watch the athletic play by Anderson. He had to cover some ground and makes a strike.
Boy, he does. And Verdugo getting out of the way. That's a good move. He knows he doesn't have a play for it. So Anderson comes out like a good catcher will, showing some good quickness behind the dish.
So now a runner at third with one out. And there's action in the Nashville bullpen. Arnold Leone, a right-hander, loosening. Kubica with a big opportunity to push his team out in front 2-0.
We may have a chance to see several pitchers tonight. Both managers expressing the need for some guys to get some innings in. And of course, this early with them playing small ball, the infield is playing in, trying to cut off a run. It tells me there's two pretty good pitching staffs here, and especially tonight, the guys that are slated to throw.
So against some late inning moves early in the ball game by both teams. Small ball for Salt Lake City, and pull that infield in for Nashville. Verdugo trying to tickle the corners.
Well, you rarely see a guy with a good batting average and that's a good hitter that just doesn't have a great eye at the plate. Not a lot of movement. Just a good pitch there on the outside part.
Kubica on this road trip, 5 for 22.
See, 3-1. He's looking for something on the inside part. That pitch is on the outside. A great pitcher's pitch.
So now a full count. Big pitch coming up for that young man, Ryan Verdugo. And he misses down. So runners at the corners now. And a double play would take Nashville out of the inning. C.J. Cron, the cleanup man, he drew a walk his last time, but he's going to have to wait through a mound visit.
Big Don Schultz, pitching coach, going out. We had a chance to talk with him earlier, and he's a big man right there, former #1 draft choice. Going out now, as we said, there will probably be several 3 to 4 pitchers per team that are going to get an opportunity tonight to throw.
First season as pitching coach here in Nashville for Schultz, 10th year as a pitching coach in the A's organization. Last year was with the Midland Rockhounds. Broke in as the pitching coach with Oakland's Rookie League club in Arizona.
We could see the gleam in his eye today when he was talking about some of his pitchers and how they're maturing and just the arm strength that a lot of them had. One guy he was talking about, we may see him, we may not.
Yep.
He said he'll throw anywhere from 90 to 95 or 96 or 97, just depending on how he feels.
He spent 4 years as the pitching coach in Midland. They got better every year in terms of ERA. Did the Rockhounds. And now C.J. Cron. Some fat numbers for this season. Trying to go with a pitch.
A lot of people have asked, when you go to these minor league games, is there anything that really sticks out other than the fact that the stadiums are really gorgeous and people are treating you good? And I went, yeah, the size of these players today.
Yeah, they really are. Grown 6'4", 235. 79 games last year with the Angels. He hit 11 home runs in the majors last year, drove in 37. Spent a third of the season in Salt Lake. 7 home runs. Drove in 33.
You got to figure he won't be here very long. Just needs some at bats right now, wasting time up in the big leagues a little bit.
Off the fists, here comes Gentry. Can't make the play. So another run scores for Salt Lake City. Gentry came a long way and gave it everything he had. But a base hit for C.J. Cron, an RBI, and a 2-0 lead for the Bees.
They say a lot of good things can happen on the middle of the field. That time he got jammed, or jammed himself really. Hit a little flare, and Gentry playing very deep. Tried to close, but wasn't able to do so.
And that'll do it for Ryan Verdugo. A bit of bad luck. They made a good pitch, and you see his center fielder try to help him.
Boy, had it there. You see the run score, but he had it in his glove just for a second till he hit the ground.
So new pitcher on the way. We'll tell you all about him when we come back. A run in, 2 on for the Salt Lake City Bees here in Nashville. The minor league baseball game of the week from On Deck. 2-0 Salt Lake City, and the Bees are still threatening with 1 out. Here in the top of the 3rd inning in Nashville, Arnold Leone is the new pitcher for the Nashville Sounds, and he is the newest Nashville Sound. In fact, Sean Nolan, the scheduled starter for tonight, was placed on the DL, and to take his place, Leone was optioned from Oakland, where he's posted a 5.06 ERA and 2 different stints with Oakland.
One of the guys that Don Schultz was bragging about a little, fastball. He throws a 2-seamer and a 4-seamer. We'll keep it somewhere around 92 to 94. Has a changeup, curveball, and a slider. So I tell you what, it makes it tough, because he was excited about these guys that he's got throwing, and tonight we may see a few more.
Now he has to face Ryan Jackson. Caught looking his last time up to end the first inning. Leadoff man doubled. That was Daniel Robertson, sacrificed to third. Kyle Kubica drew a walk. Get a good look at the numbers for Leon this season. 30 strikeouts and 25 and a third. And an RBI single. And a 2-0 lead for Salt Lake City. So Verdugo goes 2 2/3, or rather 2 1/3. And obviously you cannot close the book yet on him. Gave up 4 base hits, including 2 doubles and a home run. Jackson, a .288 hitter, 6 runs batted in. And a balk.
Yeah, I don't think he stopped.
He did not. Leon just sort of slid right through his move. And there goes the double play situation for the Nashville defense.
Well, you get a chance to look. He comes up, looks back. I don't know. Maybe there was a little move from here. I couldn't tell. Take a good look at right here. Good job by our guys. Whoop. Oh, yeah.
Yep, he flexed, basically, flinched.
A little flinch right there, and that'll do it. Good work, guys.
Not a bad bit of umpiring by Spencer Flynn, Jeff Morrow, Chris Gonzalez.
No kin to the broadcaster.
You wouldn't claim him anyway as an umpire. Kent Mathis on the move, but he can't catch up in foul ground. Like a good catch down the right field line there on one hop.
We've seen some pretty athletic fans here tonight.
And a lot of fans. It is a sellout. Now all the seats are not full because so many people on the move. On the concourse you see. They're in the bandbox out beyond right field.
Are we trying any food tonight?
I sure hope so.
You know, my favorite part of the game, by the way.
Of course, our food correspondent Lauren is off on assignment, so we'll have to depend on the kindness of strangers here in the South. Jackson staying alive. 2 men in scoring position now.
We're just coming with power baseball these last couple of pitches. 92, 93 mile an hour fastball.
Jackson, a Miami native. Off speed. And a possible double play, but scampering back to second base. C.J. Cron.
Well, he made a mistake there. He was kind of getting away with that fastball, blowing him away. You had him way off stride. Then you speed up that bat when you throw it off speed, especially if you hang one up in the zone, which he did. Ball was hit right on the button by Jackson, but right at the third baseman.
So now Josh Rutledge. And a fly ball to center his last time up. 20 runs batted in on the year. Another former member of the Alabama Crimson Tide. A run in, 2 on, 2 out. Here in Nashville, Salt Lake City trying to extend its lead. And if you're just joining us, the leadoff man doubled. Salt Lake City played small ball to move him over to third. We saw Nashville draw the infield all the way in. So both managers obviously expecting a low scoring game.
Johnny Nairn was saying that this Bees team has been very good at the plate lately, and they've been making contact and working on the guys as far as not striking out, but finding a way to put the ball in play. Then last night, got a pretty good pitching performance against them. They struck out 15 times.
.91 mile an hour fastball from Leon, second pitcher of the inning for Nashville. Rutledge, a Birmingham native, drafted in the third round in 2010 by the Rockies. Six years of pro ball for this young man. All-star in the Texas League in 2012, the California League in 2011. Called up to the Rockies in 2012 when Troy Tulowitzki was injured. And actually batted .345 up in the bigs. But was injured toward the end of the year. So now bases full of bees. And the home run man, Roger Kieschnick, this is what he did his last time up. In a ballpark where the ball just doesn't carry, he got a belt-high fastball. I don't care where you are, you're going to knock that one out.
That ball smoked. Well, they are. There's a pretty good swing right there. And, you know, lefty against lefty, and you leave that out of the plate. He's trying to get the ball down the way, and certainly didn't.
Well, that was down and almost got away from Brian Anderson, but he did a nice job of protecting the plate, saving a run.
Boy, just textbook right there.
Absolutely. Found the runner before he found the ball, did everything right. Now he gets to do it all over again.
When you got a catcher that's so good at blocking balls like that, you feel comfortable throwing any pitch you want. And most of these guys at this level are excellent at doing that.
Kieschnick, .292 average, 7 home runs. He's knocked in 25. Native of Dallas. Got up for 25 games with Arizona last year. Spent most of the year in Reno. AAA level. Well, comes off speed with it. 2-0 off speed. He had a lot of confidence in that pitch. Big chance for the Bees. But right back to the Leon, and he'll take care of things as Salt Lake City pushes across a run but leaves the bases loaded. We'll go to the bottom of the third. 2-0 Bees. It's the On Deck Minor League Baseball Game of the Week. Back in Nashville, Salt Lake leading the Sounds 2-0. Dick Gabriel, Doug Flynn at First Tennessee Park. A place where there are a lot of great ways to take in the action of the Nashville Sounds. Those are the field level boxes. Those are right behind home plate. And what a great place to watch a ball game. A great angle, and they take great care of you back there. But if you'd like to try something different, well, they can take care of you as well beyond the right field wall. That's the bandbox. You see the big screen TVs. They've got ping pong tables and foosball tables. You can stretch out on a couch. They've got a few ways to enjoy an adult beverage as well out there, I'm told. So they got a little bit of everything here at First Tennessee Park.
Well, when you ask the owner, have they done everything that you thought they would do? And he says pretty much. That means he's very satisfied, I would think.
And he always smiles when he says it. Matt Carson to lead things off here as Nashville trying to climb back in it. Only down 2-0, but Zach Stewart's been tough so far on these Sounds. They have just one base hit. Carson with his first at-bat of the night. Native of Newport Beach, California. Drafted in the 5th round back in '02 by the Yankees. And there you see the history of this ballpark. Opened just a few months ago off the end of the bat. Stewart has to play his position. And that's going to be an easy 2 bases now for Matt Carson on the throwing error by Zach Stewart. So just as Salt Lake City did in the top of the 3rd inning, Nashville puts the leadoff man on second base.
He does everything right. He grabs the ball with one hand, doesn't use his glove. He just throws it into the ground. C.J. Cron not able to come up with it. Hustling all the way as Matt Carson into second base.
Stewart may have rushed that throw just a smidge, and a smidge here means 2 bases there.
You know, it almost looked like he didn't have a good grip on the ball.
So now a big opportunity for Anthony Aliotti, a .286 hitter. Batting in the 9 hole. And he'll try to play a little bit of Small ball. Take a look at the grip, Coach.
Yeah, he's going down. He's trying to get his feet set. Looks like he grabs it, but he almost like he's got it back. Yeah, he doesn't have a good across the seams. That ball was almost like a fork ball that he was throwing because he didn't quite get a good grip on it.
Maybe obviously he thought he didn't have time. So now there you see the runner at second. That's Carson. Aliotti, native of Boise, Idaho. Former 15th round draft pick of Oakland back in '09. Played his college ball at St. Mary's, where he was a freshman All-American. Big year in 2012. Ranked second among A's minor leaguers in RBIs. Third in batting average.
Well, good job to foul that pitch off 0-2. And Stewart not messing around, coming right after him. That ball had a lot of movement on it, ran it in under his hands. He does a good job just to foul it off.
Aliotti in his 7th season of big league, or rather professional ball, all within the Oakland organization. And why not? He led all A's minor leaguers with 160 hits in 2013, so they know he can hit the ball. But Stewart got him to chase on that one, and there's one out.
You saw Charlie Cutler put that high sign. He wants a fastball up under, over his hands. They set him up with a breaking ball down and in, and he sets up high, boom, right on the money.
Perfect spot.
The ball looks good up there, but you could tell he was way behind.
So now the top of the order in Craig Gentry, and he owns the only base hit of the night for the Nashville Sounds. Singled to lead off the first inning and stole second, but was stranded at second base. Matt Carson trying to find his way home with an unearned run. This may get him home. Well, he has to watch it go down. Gary Brown comes up throwing, and that means runners at the corners. Tough break for Nashville, but Carson did the smart thing.
Well, he did, but it was not a very good read on his part. And, you know, he kind of freezes right there as if he thinks the ball may have a chance to get caught. And the ball hits well in front of the center fielder, but if you're not sure, you can't go. And then by the time he does make up his mind, it's too late for him to score. So you still have him at the corners.
Strike to the cutoff man from Gary Brown. And now Joey Wendle with an opportunity for the Sounds. Struck out his last time up. Was driven in 23 on the year. 255 hitter. Down from that 260 mark after that first inning strikeout. 2 for 4 in the Nashville win last night. Alex Yarbrough makes sure of one, and an RBI ground ball for Joey Wendle, and it's a 2-1 game. That's a break for Nashville as they avoid the double play.
Well, that play had double play written all over it. If the pitcher catches it, it's probably 2, and if he lets it go, it's probably 2. But he tips it just enough that Yarbrough comes up to get it. And one thing that you're hoping is that the runner doesn't run into it out. And he didn't do it. He knew that he was safely by.
So Matt Carson comes around. Gentry now at second base. And it's a 2-1 game as the Sounds get on the board. And Ryan Roberts will try to keep things going. There's the Tat Man.
I think we saw the Tat Man last year, didn't we?
Fly ball his last time up. We saw some tattooed guys. There's no question about that.
Well, we've seen several players because we had these guys last year, and we know a lot of them have been up and down, and some traded.
Yep.
Tatman doesn't like that call, asking if it wasn't maybe just a little in.
Defense has him shifted over a few steps on the left side, quite a bit on the right. There's a good look at the formation for Salt Lake City. C.J. Cron well off the line at first base. Alex Yarborough almost up the middle at short, or rather at second base. Rutledge pulled over at short.
Boy, good look at that field. Just a great looking field.
Perfect.
I tell you, there's not a lot of empty seats now. This place is filled up.
Well, they're seeing a pretty good ball game as well. Tatman signed as a free agent back on April the 26th here in Nashville. Crowd unhappy. Charlie Cutler wants to talk to Zach Stewart. Roberts 1 for 4 last night, drove in a couple of runs, drew a walk. 3 for 7 in the series coming into tonight's game. Has a 4-game hitting streak. Had a big 4 for 4 night last Friday at Sacramento. Drove in the game-winning run in the 8th inning. And again, good defense for Charlie Cutler.
I tell you, Dick, the more that we do these ball games and you see the ages of a lot of these guys, 33, 4, that are still trying to fulfill that dream. We talked a little bit with Don Schultz about it. He said, hey, if this is your love, you don't want to second guess yourself and leave too early. So you keep giving yourself that chance. And all you need is to get up to the big leagues for a little while. And it's a pretty darn good living.
As he said, you don't want to be 60 and wonder what if. They're going to have to tear the jersey off this guy, I have a feeling.
Yeah, I do too. And last week, of course, we had a 38-year-old signed as an outfielder. Now is on the mound trying to make it back to the big leagues.
Off the fists. Great effort by Josh Rutledge, but he can't haul it in. It goes as an RBI single for Roberts. And we're tied at 2. The tap man comes through.
Boy, hit it just hard enough. Sure looked like Rutledge had a play on it, but the ball just, believe it or not, sort of drifted back, and he's going back on it. One of the toughest plays in baseball is the ball hit right at you. And that's what we saw there, and he had a tough time really getting any momentum to go back. Base hit.
So a pair of unearned runs on the board for Nashville, and it's a 2-2 game here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. And now Jason Pridey will try to keep things going. Struck out his last time up. 0 for 9 so far in the series against Salt Lake City. Ten-game hitting streak ended last week for Pridey. He was 17 of 43. Pridey had a streak there. 31 out of 37 games with a base hit. Batted .343. And a memory for him. We've talked about this great ballpark. He had the first 2 RBIs in Sounds history here at First Tennessee Park when they opened the ballpark on April 17th against Colorado Springs in a 3-2 win.
I'll tell you, they did it right here. I mean,
and again, off the webbing of the other middle infielder, Alex Yarbrough goes for a base hit. So a lot of 2-out damage being done by the Sounds, who finally break through against Zach Stewart.
you know, one of the things, the biggest difference probably between AAA ball and Major League Baseball, the pitchers still throw hard, but plays like this usually get made in the big leagues. As we've seen, there's very few balls that get through, and that was an outstanding effort that time by Yarbrough. But, you know, those are balls that if you're a pitcher, you're saying, my guys have got to come up with it.
That's Eric Bennett making the mound visit. And it may just be, Doug, to say, look, they're not ripping you. A flare off your shortstop's glove, a ground ball off the webbing of your second baseman. Just keep doing what you're doing.
Well, he's throwing good. It's just a little bit wild, but it was his error that really got things going here in the inning anyway. And then the ball hit back up the middle. You know, that's a double play ball. So you're right. They very easily could have got out of this with no damage at all.
Eric Bennett in his 20th year with the Angels organization. 8th as the pitching coach.
God bless him, man. That's, I tell you what, having an impact on all these kids, and it's got to be rewarding when you work with someone and help them make an adjustment and get them to the big leagues.
So now Nate Freeman, runner goes. And an easy steal for Jason Pridey. What a jump.
Yeah, he was gone right on first movement. I don't think Stewart really looked over that time.
Second steal of the night for Nashville.
Oh, yeah, he's taken off as soon as he makes a movement. He's gone.
And had a big lead to boot. So now runners at second and third with 2 out.
Well, the look on his face after he hit that ball to the warning track in left field was priceless. Ball drilled, looked like it had every chance to get out of here, but it sort of floated down into the glove of the left fielder.
He did crush one his last time up. Back-to-back base hits with 2 outs. Sounds are trying to take the lead here in the bottom of the third.
Kind of liking the look of these old uniforms, and they're replicas because the ones that were back in the 40s looked a lot like that, except they were made of wool. Of course, now they've got this great material for ball uniforms which stretch with you. I remember my dad playing in
I was just about
50s.
to ask you.
Yeah.
Has he told you about how hot it got?
Oh, yeah. Are you kidding? How hot it got in the summer and how cold it got in the winter.
Was it preceded by you kids today?
I think you're absolutely right.
Your dad was a player.
He was, and the name Junior Gilliam brings up because on some of those world championships, he was on 4 of them with the Dodgers.
Yep.
In '65, there was a Lexingtonian by the name of Lou Johnson, a part of that club. And my dad had a chance to play with him in the Negro Leagues.
Lou Johnson, part of a World Series champion. Crowd respectfully disagrees. Full count.
It's just a sinker, a 2-seamer that he throws, and ball had a lot of movement on it. Pretty
like
close.
Strike at the front of the plate. And the inning alive as Freeman works his way on. Bases loaded with 2 down. First walk issued by Zach Stewart. Stewart hurt himself to open the inning, threw away a comebacker, went for an error. Matt Carson came around and scored. Craig Gentry with a base hit. After a ground ball, Ryan Roberts with a single, Jason Pridey with a single, now the walk. And Kent Mathis with a chance to build on that total of 26 runs batted in. Tied for third in the PCL right now with 17 doubles. Stewart at one point retiring 6th in a row after giving up a leadoff single in the first. As we mentioned, should have been out of the inning by now, but hurt himself. Mathis 2 for 3 last night at a triple. It's going to be a tough play for Kubica. But he makes the play for out number 3, and Nashville leaves him full. But the Sounds push across 2. We're tied in Nashville for the on-deck minor league game of the week. It's a gorgeous night for baseball here in Nashville, where the Sounds and the Bees are tied at 2. Dick Gabriel, Doug Flynn, and we're pleased and proud to be joined in the booth by Larry Taylor, a former member of the Nashville Sounds. And could you tell us what years you played, Larry?
I came here in 1955. I don't even think I knew where Nashville was at the time. But
From where originally?
I was a North Carolinian, and I played pro ball 2 years at Columbia, South Carolina, and then went into service. Came out of service, and that's when I came here.
And what was pro ball like in 1955 at this level in Nashville? Double A, or was it double A?
It was double A.
Yeah.
Double A. It was very good.
Wow. Look
Who's
at
that guy?
That's
a
him.
strapping-looking
That's
young
him.
man. Yeah. Part of the Nashville Vols. And what do you think of these uniforms tonight?
Oh, I think they're very nice. Of course, they go back a little bit beyond me.
Yeah.
That's our.
Yep.
Wow, that's a good-looking bunch there.
Yeah. Those are the unis tonight, though, from 1948. I think probably better-looking
Yeah,
uniforms back
that was
then.
that was in '56.
Yeah. And I know you guys weren't getting rich, but you were having a lot of fun, weren't you?
I don't think anybody in baseball got rich. It was amazing.
So it was a Reds affiliate back then, right?
It was.
Yep. Do
Now
you still keep up with the Reds, or do you have a team that you watch or keep
Well,
up with?
Atlanta's much closer.
Oh, I
Well,
see.
not a whole lot, but it's easier to get to Atlanta than it is Cincinnati. So I sort of pull for the Braves.
You threw out the first pitch tonight. We're going to take a look at that right after this pitch to Gary Brown. And that's strike three. But
Well,
you split the plate tonight.
Yeah. I won't have anybody calling me about coming back, I'll tell you.
Oh, you never know. Is that nerve-wracking? Now, you played pro ball, but as you were telling us, trying to get it warmed up, that's a strike right there, brother.
That's right.
See, he's been eating too much, too.
Some of this good ballpark food.
That's right.
But we've seen some real disasters, not in person, but we've seen guys, throw the ball almost at a right angle. You got the ball over the plate. You got to be proud.
Well, absolutely. I was going to, if it rolled over the plate, that was going to be fine.
With all the years that you played, and then the game has certainly come a long way. It boils down still. Can you hit it, throw it, and catch it? But what do you think about the stadium like this? And you see the salaries like they are, kind of make you wish you were back in it, doesn't it?
Sometimes.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes. Oh, this is a beautiful stadium.
Larry, when you were playing, did you ride a lot of trains or a lot of buses?
We rode both of them. If we were going to New Orleans, and we usually did after a Sunday doubleheader, we would ride the train, and it would get in there in the morning, and we would go get in the hotel and sleep for a while. And then on the bus trips would be Chattanooga, Birmingham, Memphis, Little Rock.
Now, you
The
mentioned
closer one.
towns just now where it gets pretty warm in the summertime, and Doug and I were just talking about the fact that you guys wore the wool uniforms and you played day games.
Now, I never wore a wool uniform.
You never had to.
I got in one a couple of times just to see how hot they were, and I can tell you they weren't very comfortable. But the polyester was coming out in about this time, and
Okay.
polyester was that was very good. That was very good. So
That helped a little. I would think it helped a lot.
nothing
That kind of heat.
nothing helped when the temperature gets 96 degrees.
Yeah. And all that
And
humidity.
you down in a low place. Now see, this isn't considered a low place in here.
Right.
The old dump used to be about 10-foot fence, 30-foot screen on it, and 262 feet. And this is 310.
Did you have a proudest moment as a ball player?
Well, the proudest moment was anytime you got to win and hit in a game. And I got a couple. And it's always fun when you end the game with you making some kind of play.
Charlie Cutler taking strike 3. I think he had Doug to be looking for something else.
Yeah, he did. He just kind of locked up. I mean, pitch certainly got enough height. Not much argument there, so just a pretty good pitch. And we're seeing Leon come in here, throw the ball very well.
Talking with Larry Taylor, a former member of the Nashville Sounds, played back in the 50s. Do you make it to many games here?
Yes, we try to get to 4, 5, or 6 of them. Of course, my wife and I are retired, and we go to California a lot to see the grandkids, and so.
And you're wearing a national championship shirt from the Vanderbilt Commodores, the 2014 NCAA
trying to give
champs.
Tim Corbett a little help.
You're doing a great job down the street. So you're just a baseball fan in general, aren't you?
Well, absolutely. Well, I coach basketball and baseball at Berry College, and which was enjoyable. But it's hard to get those two together. Mm-hmm. I mean, they come together, and you can't do one right while you're trying to get the other one finished. And I spent 14 years there, and I told somebody it felt like I'd been working 28 years. And I was going to get into something else. So
did you add up all your wins, though, from baseball and basketball for one big win-loss record?
Yeah, I think I won about 350 games
there you
or
go.
something like that. Mm-hmm. But we couldn't play as many as they play now.
Yeah.
Well, that's the truth.
Doug was talking about, compared to his minor league days and big league days, how much bigger the players are now. Physically, I mean, muscular. Have you noticed that?
I don't know where it's coming from. But you're exactly right. And I know the early players never lifted weights.
I was about to ask.
That's right.
They lifted 100-pound fertilizer sacks, and that's a lot of weight.
In the off season.
And during the off season, that's exactly. And they were doing it because they were raised on a farm, and Dad said, get out there and get that 100-pound fertilizer sack on the wagon. But
Daniel Robertson dumps the base hit in right now. Alex Yarbrough trying to keep the inning alive. We're talking with Larry Taylor, the former Nashville Sound, honored tonight throughout the first pitch, joining us here in our booth on the On Deck Minor League Baseball Game of the Week.
So when you played, what was your playing weight?
Most of the time it was between 145 and 150.
You know, I played at 168 or so, and we couldn't even be bat boys on these teams today.
No way.
Do you like where baseball is now, though, with with the new stadiums and the improvements in the equipment and things like that?
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah,
fantastic. You know, we didn't have that much. We didn't have any extra hitting devices or anything. Throw it up in the air and hit it. In fact, I learned how to field the ball. I was raised on a farm, and we had a corn crib, and it was big pieces of timber,
sure.
You know. And I'd throw up against those things, and that ball would come shooting back, and I'd have to go the backhand it. And that's how I learned how to be a fielder.
You know, some guy made a lot of money with that, called a pitchback machine. How about that?
That was pretty high tech back then.
But I do that about every afternoon.
Yeah.
We used to make up games. That's what I loved about it. You'd invent games. I used to throw the tennis ball on the roof, and then when I didn't lose it, I'd try to act like I was a fielder and guess where it was coming off, and just
exactly
because you love to play.
Yeah. I remember when we were younger, we used to go to get there early, and we'd choose up on the bat.
Sure.
Oh yeah.
Who was going
one hand over the other. Yeah.
Who was going to get the first pick, and I usually had a bat and a ball, so I got the first one here, and then we'd go from there. And we'd play a little makeup game.
Sounds good. Larry, thank you so much for joining
It's
us.
fun.
Great
being
fun
here.
talking to you.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here,
Yes,
Larry.
sir. This has been great.
Thank you so much. Back in just a minute. 2-2 in Nashville. It's the On Deck Minor League Game of the Week.
Minor League Baseball on CBS Sports Network is being brought to you by IMG Academy Private School and Sports Camps. Push further. Become more.
Back in Nashville, Dick Gabriel, Doug Flynn, thanks again. Boy, Larry's a gem, isn't he?
He really is. It's so good to talk to somebody from the past that, you know, we get spoiled as ball players. I did through the 70s and 80s, and certainly the guys that are here today are, but I'm so thankful for the ones that came before us and paved the way. So gave us a chance not only to make a better living, make a little bit more money, have better uniforms. Everything got better. So thank you, Larry.
You know what I liked about Larry is he doesn't resent what today's players have. You know, sometimes you hear the old timers go, "Oh, we didn't need all that stuff. We just played." He just loves the game, and he appreciates obviously what all the improvements have done for the game, not just for the players.
You know, if you start resenting the game, and there's some guys that really do.
Yeah.
But when somebody says, "Would you like to be playing now? What would you be worth?" I said, "I don't know. What would Mays be worth, or Aaron, or Bench, or Morgan, or those guys?" So it's all relevant.
Ryan and I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, you need to be thankful, buddy.
Absolutely.
And I certainly am. Now that is a
That's some smart baseball right there. The huge shift for Brian Anderson. The left-handed hitter and wide open the left side of the infield, and he takes full advantage. Why not?
If Jay Bruce would
Look
ever
at
do
that
this,
shift.
that's exactly the way they play Jay Bruce and a lot of other guys in the big leagues. You do this a couple of times, it'll make them play you more honestly. That is absolutely perfect. Look, he sits, doesn't move until the ball is bunted.
Yep.
He knows all I got to do is get it down, and I got to knock.
Well, that's the key, too, because he didn't try to hide it. And, you know, didn't try to do that quick push. He just squared. And they work on it every day in BP. We saw it today. So now Zach Stewart once again with a leadoff man aboard, just as he dealt with back in the third inning when Nashville reached him for a couple of runs, both unearned. In that third inning, Stewart threw 29 pitches in the one frame alone. Prior to that, in the first two innings, he had only thrown 26 combined.
We've got a little more action going on in the Nashville bullpen. Jim Fuller getting loose. And as we said, tonight may be a night that we see a lot of pitchers from this Nashville ball club.
Matt Carson reached, leading off the third. Bounced a comebacker, and Stewart rushed his throw, threw it away for a two-base error. Carson coming around to score on a ground ball. Bees jumped out to a 2-0 lead. Boy, he was, if not trying to knock it out of the park there, trying to drive the ball for sure.
See why these guys have so many doubles. As big as this field is, if you fill it in the gap, there's a pitch that ran up and in on him.
I was about to say Stewart put it right where he needed it.
Yeah, right underneath those hands. It's tough to get to that pitch. Tried to come back and hit him.
So now runners at first and second and nobody out. And the number 9 hitter, Anthony Aliotti, he struck out his last time up.
So he tries to come back with the same pitch that he got him to swing on. This ball just gets him on the elbow.
Yep.
And you would think with the tie ball game, you got your number 9 hitter up. He may be trying to lay one down to move the runners up into scoring position.
'15th round draft pick back in '09. Aliotti struck out back in the third inning.
Doesn't show bunt the first pitch. We got a pretty good hitter here, hitting almost 290.
1 for 4 last night, scored a run. But 1 for 9 against these Bees pitchers here in this homestand.
Frank Herman warming up in the Bees bullpen. A lot of pitches being thrown right now by Stewart. Kind of cruised a little bit, and then all of a sudden got himself in a little bit of trouble. And since then hasn't been able to find the zone.
Off the fist, Aliotti with a double play ball potentially. There it is, 4-6-3. So now runner third and 2 out, and Stewart breathing a little bit easier. Routine for Yarbrough and Rutledge.
You wasn't sure if he got the ball out of the glove cleanly at second base, but in enough time that once he got it to Rutledge, he turned it quite easily.
So now the top of the order due up for the Sounds. That's Craig Gentry.
Yep. So he kind of takes his time, kind of a little lazy flip to second. Didn't have a whole lot on it. He may have got the ball stuck in the webbing a little. But boy, good job, and that's what you need from your defense. Can't miss chances like that.
Carson did what he could with a hard slide at second base. But now 2 down, man at third. Gentry's got a good one going tonight, 2 for 2. Stewart tries the off speed, 83 miles an hour. Gentry option to Nashville on May 25th. Made the opening day roster with the A's, but 3 for 38 in 17 games. So as you pointed out earlier, coming down here to try to get that swing back at the stroke, sharpen his eye. And Stewart gets him to chase. So the Sounds put a man at third, but that's where he remains, and we remain tied. 2-2 here in the on-deck minor league game of the week. Back in Nashville, Salt Lake and the Sounds tied at 2. Here on our on-deck minor league game of the week, Dick Gabriel, Doug Flynn, and a look at some of the news from around MILB.com. The AA Biloxi Shuckers of the Southern League are going to open up a new ballpark Saturday night, MGM Park, and they've had to wait a little while on construction delays. That cost them their first 2 months of this season. They had to play home games in Jacksonville, Huntsville, and Mississippi while their ballpark was being finished. How about this start for Derek Fisher in the California League last Saturday with the Lancaster Jethawks? 2 grand slams, drove in a California League record 12 runs on May 30th. In his first 3 games for Lancaster, Fisher batted .412 with 4 homers, 16 runs batted in, and scored 8 runs. That's a career for some guys. He did it in one day.
Why are you looking over this way?
You can dream. Tough break for David Dahl. He is the top prospect and outfielder for the Colorado Rockies, out for the rest of the year. Slammed into a wall chasing a fly ball, had to have surgery on his spleen. He was a 10th overall draft pick in 2012. Routine ground ball, Roberts. And there's 1 out. Don't forget, get online and vote. AAA Baseball again allowing fans the chance to send your favorite player to the AAA All-Star Game. It's in Omaha. You do it through online voting. You vote online through June 26th at MILB.com or the website of any of the 30 AAA teams. You can cast your vote through your mobile device, your tablet, and they are available through the MILB First Pitch app, so get online and vote. C.J. Cron standing in for the Bees now with 1 out. And a reminder, get the latest news, stats, score schedules, and video highlights from every minor league team at MILB.com, the official website of minor league baseball. Love watching the highlights. So Leon trying to hold the Bees down, making it hard on himself, though, Doug. His first pitch has been a strike on just 2 of the 9 batters he's faced. Right at Jason Pridey, and there are 2 outs.
You know, we saw Leon pretty much come in with power pitching, fastball, and then he's now gone to his breaking ball.
Second time through the lineup.
Yep, second time through, and he's throwing good variety. That time just a chance to jam the hitter, hit fairly decent.
And it looks like he's on a pitch count because with nobody on and 2 out, he's done. It's the pat on the back, and a new pitcher is on the way for the Nashville Sounds. We'll tell you all about him when we come back. It's a 2-2 game here at First Tennessee Park. Back in just a minute with the On Deck Minor League Baseball Game of the Week. 2-2 game with 2 outs in the top of the 5th and a new pitcher number 3 on the night for the Nashville Sounds. There he is, Jim Fuller, 5'10", 190, 28 years old, out of Marlborough, Massachusetts. Pitched in New Britain on Double-A ball last year and signed a free agent contract in the offseason with the A's. There you get a good look at his numbers. Look at that ERA in 13 innings, 14 strikeouts and just 4 walks. So with the 2 holds and the win, he has been an effective left-hander out of the pen.
Well, another guy that throws 92 to 94 with a curved slider and a good changeup. Part of that stable of hard throwers that we're seeing with this Nashville ball club.
Sounds bullpen yet to give up a run over the last 22 innings.
You know, we asked Don Schultz before the game, Don, does everybody seriously, I mean, legitimately, are they throwing 90 to 95? And he looked us right in the eye and said, absolutely.
Well, you mentioned 15 strikeouts last night. Chris Bassett was the starter. Brian Jackson trying to measure Fuller. Jackson 0 for 2, lined out the third his last time up. That bullpen streak covering the last 7 games plus what they've done tonight. 3 for 3 in save opportunities. Infield single for Jackson. Boy, just for a moment there, I thought Fuller had it.
You know, the glove looked like it got up, but just a hair late.
Yep.
Just one of those balls, good timing, good placement. That Wee Willie said, hit them where they ain't. All right, he kind of flinches because I don't think the ball was hit as hard as he thought it was. But when it's coming right back after you, you don't always know that.
So now the runner aboard with 2 outs for Josh Rutledge. Drew a walk his last time up. Ryan Roberts will take it at first. And a runner is stranded for Salt Lake City, and a good start for the third pitcher, Fuller, out of the Sounds bullpen. We're tied up in Nashville. The Bees and the Sounds are locked up at 2 here on the On Deck Minor League Baseball Game of the Week. And Saturday at 7 Eastern, it's a crucial arena football clash in the Sunshine State when the Jacksonville Sharks host the first place Orlando Predators, right here on CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Dick Gabriel, Doug Flynn at First Tennessee Park, having a wonderful time at this brand new ballpark. And a good game right in front of us. Bees jumped out to a 2-0 advantage after the first 2.5 innings. Nashville answered with 2 and has been putting pressure on Salt Lake City. Frank Herman on the bump now for the Bees. Will try to hold the Sounds down in this spacious ballpark. Good numbers for Frank, 3-0, 24 strikeouts in 24 innings and only 2 walks.
Yeah, you got to like that figure with only 2 walks. You know, another kid that throws hard, you know, 4-seam fastball curve, and he likes a cut fastball that he'll run in on the left-handers and away from the righties.
So you close the book after 4 innings on Zach Stewart, who, as Doug mentioned, got off to the good start and then ran into trouble in the 3rd inning, gave up the 2 unearned runs. Put 2 men on in the 4th, but benefited from a double play and then struck out the last man he faced. 4 strikeouts on the night. And walked 1. Gave up 5 hits. And Herman gives up a base hit to the first man he faces, Joey Wendle.
Gets a breaking ball right out over the plate. Doesn't try to pull it or roll over and hit a ground ball. That time just stayed with it, drove it through the 5-6 hole. Third base, good piece of hitting by your number 2 hitter.
Now for the third time in as many innings, Nashville has put the leadoff man aboard. And Ryan Roberts at the plate. The illustrated man. Free agent signee back at the end of April.
Boy, good hack. He knows he got a good pitch to hit there. That bat looks like it's been gnawed on a little bit.
An RBI single his last time up, had the flare that Rutledge just couldn't quite pull in. Bumps his average to 315. Now 2 for 3. Making a big turn is Wendle, but he'll remain at second as Robertson returns it.
Boy, really looks so solid at the plate. That's why he's a 300 hitter. Sits there, doesn't have a lot of movement. 2 pitches left up, 2 base hits. The pitch is kind of down. I take that back. That pitch wasn't up. About knee high, thigh high. He goes down, does a good job staying with it, drills it to left field.
Now Jason Pridey out of Prescott High School in Arizona. Free agent signee back on December 29th of 14. Big opportunity here for the Sounds. 2 on, nobody out in a 2-2 game. Pridey singled, stole a base his last time up. Infield single. Struck out in the first inning. '14th in the league in runs batted in.
I believe Pridey that time was going to try to bunt for a base hit because he was moving. The ball was just a little bit outside. If he stays there and gets it down.
And you can see he's not happy with his execution. He tried to hide it. Good job there, but
he saw his rear end kind of leave a little bit early.
Trying to win that race to first base.
So they may have told him try to bunt for a base hit on a pitch, and then if you don't get it down, swing away or even turn around and sack. Oh, he gets a good pitch to hit.
I was going to say, it took a healthy cut.
Well, last inning with first and second and no outs, and your number 9 hitter coming out, they elected not to bunt. Hits into a double play. Of course, Pridey a good hitter, as we mentioned, having a very good year and got a good pitch to drill, just happened to miss it.
Friday in left field tonight. But as the DH has been successful as well.
Very good pitch there. Good miss. I guess just a little bit inside, but tough pitch to lay off of.
As a cleanup man this season, .306 average. Didn't like the call, but up here it looked like it was right there on the outside edge. 1 out.
Well, the one before, I guess he thought would have been in, but that's a pretty good pitch. I mean, all indications that catcher doesn't try to frame it at all. He just holds it right there.
Mentioned Pridey's average as the cleanup man. Other Sounds as cleanup hitters batting just .197. So they've been successful with Pridey in the 4-hole, but he's a big out right now for Salt Lake City. And here's big Nate Freeman. 0 for 1 tonight, drew a walk. He's on the DL up to May 29th with a groin strain, a couple of weeks out.
Well, he looks big on television, doesn't he? So you know he's got some size. Saw the guys coming out today, and some in shorts and getting a chance to hit, which I think is a good move. We never used to do that years ago. You had to at least have your pants on, your baseball pants, but they're out hitting in shorts, and I think it's smart.
Nate is 6'8", 250. That's off the fists, but that'll find the bullpen. Not only did he hit one out that I saw in BP, he hit it up the berm. It almost hit the flagpole. So while we were sitting there talking to coaches and players about how the ball doesn't carry, this young man got hold of one.
And that's pretty much the way the flags have been most of the day. Not a lot of breeze here. We felt it kind of warmish down on the field. But boy, what a beautiful night to play ball in a beautiful facility.
No balls, 2 strikes. Good pitch by Herman. Just couldn't get him to chase inside. First 2 men reached. They're in the 5th inning for Nashville. But then he catches Jason Pridey looking. And he jumped out ahead of Freeman.
Well, he pitched him pretty tough that time. He had 1 pitch to hit, but then he came back with a nasty pitch there with a lot of movement on it. See, the bottom just falls out of this pitch.
Slider?
I'm not sure what it was. It almost looked like, you know, it could have been a change or it could have been a split finger, but I don't know that he throws that. So he might have just been a good hard 2-seamer.
Whatever it was strike 3. That's back-to-back strikeouts for Herman. And now Kent Mathis stands between him and a scoreless inning. Mathis 0 for 2, a pair of ground balls to third. Trying to add to that RBI total. Native of Florence, South Carolina. 4th round pick by the Rockies back in '09.
See a couple of the hitters now looking back at Spencer Flynn behind the plate. And you know, when you're zoned in and you're swinging the bat really well, you've got a good idea where the strike zone is. There's that same pitch that he's struck out Fryman on. Just a lot of movement. These guys today that are power pitchers, it doesn't take much for them to get the ball to move. And when they're throwing that hard, just getting it to move a little bit. And you've heard about people whose fastballs are flat. And certainly he does not have one of those.
Mathis made appearances in the big league training camp of the Rockies from 2011 to 14. Signed on with the A's organization. Nicely done by Cutler behind the plate. 2-sport star was Mathis down in Jacksonville in high school. Actually played in the Florida High School All-Star football game in '05. Father was a football player at Miami. His uncle played football at Miami, but Mathis decides to stick with baseball. SEC Player of the Year in Alabama in '09. Not digging in on that one.
No, not up there around 93, 94 mile an hour. Ball started on the inside and kind of ran in. Got them full now with a couple outs, so runners will be on the move.
So Herman, who had jumped out ahead of Mathis, now has to risk bases loaded or trying to challenge. And a spoiler will do it all over again. But some things never change from ballpark to ballpark. Well, at least it was a youngster, not a really youngster, but
he may have stolen that right away from some kid.
Could be.
The nerve.
do it all over again.
That looked like a good cut fastball on the outside part. Good job to foul that off by Mathis. Color going out to make sure that they're on the same page here. A lot of these veteran guys, some of them have lost a little velocity. They still know how to pitch. They still know how to hit certain parts of the plate. All of them with that one goal in mind, just to get back to the big leagues.
Talked about the size of some of these players. Mathis 6'3", 220. Froze him. He struck out the side. After giving up back-to-back singles, Herman with an impressive finish here in the fifth. We're tied at 2 in Nashville. It's the on-deck minor league baseball game of the week.
2.
Oh, it's about to get real up here, folks. 2-2 in Nashville. The on-deck minor league game of the week. Dick Gabriel, Doug Flynn, and 2 of his buddies from the music industry here in Nashville. And these are 2 guys who are part of one of the great music acts here in Nashville. Good to see you. It's the Gatlins.
Thank you very much.
Are you 2 of the original Gatlins?
Are you the original?
Oh, boy.
No, those guys, they died
That's
a
a
long
long
time
story.
It's an inside joke, but some lady asked me the other day. I told her what I. She said, "What do you do for a living?" I said, "I sing for a living." She said, "Well, I know you." I said, "Yeah, maybe I'm one of the Gatlin brothers." She said, "Are you one of the original Gatlin brothers?"
Well, the Temptations keep changing. Maybe the Gatlins
Right, of
keep
course,
changing.
we're not quite that old.
All right, Steve and Rudy Gatlin, 2 of
First
my
pitch
dear
is low.
friends.
That first pitch is low.
Hey, have you ever done any baseball broadcasting before?
Sure. No, but if you ought to get out of the way, I think I
Go right ahead. Outside of the
Easy
improvement, they'll
stretch.
never know the difference.
come with the 0-1 pitch.
She's in the straight.
Oh, it's inside. Good cut.
And he found, all right, look, for years. I mean, did you ever think that when you guys started out singing with Brother Larry, that
I'd be up here with you.
you'd be up here with me? No.
Never crossed my mind.
But you're baseball,
I mean,
you're
hotter,
baseball fans.
They're baseball fans, but you're hotter than a firecracker when you guys are still doing it.
Yeah, we're still singing. This is our 60th year. That's looks like routine.
Roger
Yeah.
Kieschnick.
Yeah, this is our 60th year doing it. We started when I was 4 years old. Rudy was 2.5. Larry was about 7 years old. We're still fortunate to be able to do it. Still do it.
All right, tell me
we need the money.
Anniversary for Broken Lady. I mean, you're a Grammy Award winner how many years ago?
40.
No way.
Yeah, we were in 1976. So this spring will be 40 years. All the Gold, which pretty much is our signature song, is 38 years old.
Wow.
Wow.
But it holds up.
Yeah, well, thank you very much, and we appreciate that. When we sing it, they sing it every night with us, and I'm very thankful.
What
for
is that like when the crowd helps you?
It's a whole lot better than when they say, "Would you sing Elvira?"
Oh, no.
No, see,
Wrong boys.
we have to deal with the Oak Ridge boys. They don't do all the gold, and we don't do Elvira.
That's pretty fair. Now, you all are good friends with theirs, so we know.
yeah.
Very good friends. We've been known them for a long, long time.
Okay, you've been off the road a few days. You're doing another album. Is that correct?
Well, no, I played golf today.
Oh, I'm sorry.
If the sun was shining.
Rudy, did you do a new album today?
I guess what I'm doing tomorrow.
What are you doing tomorrow?
Playing golf at 1 o'clock.
You know-
guess I'm doing Saturday.
Here's the 1-1.
But you will be a children's charity, which is the most vital, important of all.
You're absolutely right.
These guys come up to Lexington,
you-
Kentucky, help me raise $500,000 with our buddy Johnny Bench, and we do a golf tournament that this will be our 35th year. These guys will be singing,
There
a
it
little
is.
logo. That's
Yeah.
right. They'll be singing on Thursday night at our cabaret show. Then you all head
So great.
to
Theft River, I say it, Minnesota.
I go to Fargo.
Yeah, we're going to Fargo, basically, and work at a casino about 30 miles out of there.
still hitting the big places. Are you?
Yeah. You know why we do that?
We're going to Lexington.
I know that.
Why do you go
Rudy?
to Fargo, Rudy?
Our motto is you pay, we play.
I see.
Yes,
I
Going-
see.
They're paying,
like,
we're
like,
going to
like
Fargo.
ball players.
that's right.
Little squibber down at the second base. He's got it.
Oh,
Out number
second
2.
baseman, pretty hot tonight.
Hey, yes,
Oh,
well, hey,
what would you give Doug right now for a home run to have Rudy call it?
I
That would be awesome.
I would give almost anything.
Can our producer and director make that happen? Like with CGI? That would be
Well, you know what Steve says about me? He says, I played 11 years in the big leagues, but the greatest play I ever made was in a slow pitch softball game with him.
Yes, it was awesome.
It was good, wasn't
It
it?
was awesome. I was playing second base, and the ball hit right up the middle. Actually hit on my side. Doug was playing short on the second base side, and me being the swifty that I was,
Yes.
I was a little slow getting there. Doug comes and backhands it and flips it behind his back to me. I barehand it and throw the guy out first.
Double
base.
play.
Double play.
Double play. Thank
Wow.
you. We have recreated that quite often on the golf course with the
Yeah.
golf ball, just so the fans would have an idea of what we were doing. But hey, I'm so thrilled. Both of you here in Nashville now. You just finished a new album.
Yes, we
that'll
did.
be out when?
July 23rd, basically. We're doing Fox and Friends doing a TV show
Okay.
in New York, and that kind of kicks off the release of the album and the single.
Unbelievable. Hey, yes, sir.
Called The Gospel According to Gatlin.
Is that the name of it?
And the
Is
album.
it all gospel music then? Or?
Yes, but it's very good. Reed.
Yeah, it is. It's something we started working on about 7 years ago before the Pilgrimage album came out in 09. So, foul ball off the left
We've
side.
done
1 and 2.
gospel. We've done Old Rugged Cross and Amazing Grace, the old standards. We've done one of those, and this one's all new contemporary stuff. Larry wrote some stuff with Bill Gaither, who's a wonderful Christian songwriter, and some other guys in town. And so it's very contemporary, very hip.
We were talking before the game and during the broadcast about the fact that Nashville, of course, is known for great country music, but this is a great sports town.
This is a wonderful sports town. I tell people all the time, now that we have the new stadium for the Sounds, and then the Preds are in town and doing well, and the Titans they're in town. Titans are just in town. We're not going to talk about the Titans.
Good
I'm
coach.
not happy with the Titans right now.
Yeah, the Titans are in town.
But you have an NFL team.
That's
Yes.
right, and we're very thankful
Jim
for it. I know they're
Weisenhunt's a
doing the
good
best
coach.
they can. That's fine. He is a good coach. And
Good
they're
man.
They're going to do better this year.
Foul ball,
Foul ball. Good call, Rudy.
Foul ball.
2 and 2.
You're right on that one,
Rudy,
buddy.
when it fouls it and none of the guys
Charlie-
see it, they don't
Charlie
it's a
Cup-
foul ball.
Did I see a foul ball
Charlie
come
Cutler.
close to you all earlier?
Yes.
And I thought it was in your vicinity.
Yes. You're
Yes.
right.
And
I was ducking. I'm getting out of the way, man. That thing's
I
coming
don't
in
have a
about 90 miles
See,
an hour.
you had an advantage. They gave you a glove.
I know.
We don't get gloves. in this.
Unfortunately, they gave me a bat too, but I couldn't use it.
Yeah. What'd you say if you would have hit 2 more hits a week?
One
One more hit a week,
more
you'd
hit
been
a
in the Hall
week.
of Fame.
One more hit a week. I'd have been considered a good hitter. Instead, I didn't.
All right, this is a big pitch, Rudy.
This is the 2 and 2.
Call this one, Rudy.
Well, he's going outside with it.
That's good. How'd you know that?
Catcher just shifted over there a little bit.
So did you play baseball in high school?
I played semi-pro ball out in Odessa.
Here you go, Rudy. Call this. What is he doing? Sitting
There's the
outside?
replay.
Low and away. Nice pitch.
Yeah. Little movement on it.
Yeah, had a little
It's hard to
wrinkle.
stay away from. I'm a left-handed hitter.
I just want
Well,
you.
that changeup that guy threw a while ago.
Oh, was that good?
Oh, was it good? Little heat. Oh, it got between the third baseman and the shortstop.
Our producer and a lot of our folks here are from the Austin, Texas area, a place where you guys are very familiar with.
Yes, we were born and raised in Odessa, but love Austin. Obviously, the state capital of Texas, a wonderful place it's beautiful. It's a great
Dale-
city.
Dale
It reminds me very much
Yep.
of Nashville. Nashville's a booming city right
Oh, yeah.
now. Oh,
Look at that.
we are doing
skyline.
yeah, it's pretty.
Well, you were telling me the other night, just when I asked you about the traffic, you said, Doug, even our friends in the business that lived in California are all starting to migrate back here.
A lot of people live here. A lot of people have decided this is not only a country music town, but just a good music town. And it's a good place to live. It's not too big. It's not, but it still has all the culture.
Daniel
all the-
Robertson's the top of the order for Salt Lake City. We're talking to 2 of the original Gatlins, Rudy and Steve.
We
And,
don't know about Larry, huh?
Larry's off doing his thing, but
There is working that somewhere.
Is he?
Yeah.
Well,
But, you guys are obviously a big sports fan. Do you get to many of the Sounds games?
No, as a matter of fact, the last one I went to was in Greer Stadium, a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
I really don't. Most of the time, in summertime, when the Sounds are playing, we're working.
That's true.
That's
Plus,
good.
you don't like being mobbed here at the stadium, am I right?
Right.
I do. I like it.
You like being mobbed?
Sure, why not? Come on. Mob me, please.
All right, as soon as the inning's over and we go to commercial, Doug and I will mob you.
Well, that isn't what I had in mind.
Oh, okay.
All right, big picture. Oh, that was harsh off that one, too.
I tell you,
I
watching
think
these,
Larry used to own part of the Sounds.
He
didn't
did.
A long
He did.
time ago.
He
Did
and
we
Richard.
own part of that?
He and Richard owned.
Richard
Certainly.
Sturman.
Well, that's how
Started with
you
the
know
old
you're successful. When you have to turn to your brother and say, did we own part of a pro baseball team?
He said,
Well, we
I'll
really
never
own-
have that
we
problem.
owned a lot of oil wells and cattle, too, that we have no idea where
Oh, is that
stuff
right?
Well,
We owned them up here, and now they're
I
gone,
see, I
gone, gone.
understand.
I think it's 78. Richard's, well, I don't know if it's Richard. I guess he was probably one of the ones. Conway and Larry.
Yes.
All were stockholders when they first got the ball club started there.
Conway. See, Doug's on the first name basis with
Oh, yeah.
these people.
Well,
Conway.
only when I'm hanging. I'm big timing you right now is what I'm doing. Yeah.
Understood.
here's the 2-2 pitch.
Well,
And 2-2.
in a
Speaking
moment.
of 2-2,
In a moment. There you go.
All right, tell me.
we'd like to welcome Desmond 2-2 to the old ball field.
No.
Oh.
All right, tell me about the clock. This is new now that I'm.
Oh yeah, the clock that you see.
experimenting?
The pitch
They're
clock.
experimenting. They're trying to speed up the game. So in AA and AAA, the batter's not supposed to get out of the box. You see he's got 1 foot. Now he's kind of moved out because time has been called by someone. They turned the clock off, but they're trying to speed up the game. So the batter's not supposed to get out. We saw it last week where they took longer than that, and they called a guy out.
They called the automatic strike, and it was strike 3.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Runner goes. Rudy.
Good shortstop. Good throw. All right.
So, so it starts when the pitcher gets the ball back?
It does. It does. All right, let's do this. Let's leave him out the little Houston. Want to do that?
Yeah, okay.
All right. Well, Houston means that I'm one day closer to you. Sing, Rudy. Our honey, Houston.
I am.
Houston means the last day of the tour we're through. All right.
Two to two, Salt Lake and Nashville. Next week on the On Deck Minor League Baseball National Game of the Week, we visit Tulsa's beautiful One Oak Field as the Tulsa Drillers host the Northwest Arkansas Naturals. June 11th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Join us for a look at the Texas League Player of the Month for Maine, Northwest Arkansas first baseman Balbino Fuenmayor as he makes a run at the Texas League Triple Crown. The Slugger's in the top 2 in average homers, RBI in his first year in the Royals organization. Drillers led by Cuban outfielder Yadier Drake. He's moving quickly through the Dodgers organization after signing as a free agent last August. It's the Northwest Arkansas Naturals and the Tulsa Drillers next Thursday on CBS Sports Network. Dick Gabriel, Doug Flynn, we can't thank the Gatlins enough for coming to the ballpark tonight just to spend time with their good friend, Mr. Doug Flynn. But boy, are they, was that the best way to get to a commercial break that we've ever had on the minor league baseball game of the week?
I tell you, I can't
wait to see what they charge us for that song.
You know, I can't thank them enough. I've known them since the 70s. And anytime that there's a charitable work that, and you know that, Dick, because you're with our golf tournament too, anytime we need to raise money, they say, hey, they are going out of their way. One year they came, did our tournament, flew out to do a gig, and then back. So
that's right.
Thanks, boys. Thanks, all of our guests.
They are hard-working gentlemen, and they're fun. They're a lot of fun.
They're nuts.
Rudy did a nice job on the play-by-play there. I should have left with Steve and let him sit here with you. Brian Anderson will lead things off here in the home half of the 6th inning here in Nashville. And the shift is again in place in part. There you get a look now, trying to cross things up a little bit. Is Salt Lake City, leaving third baseman Kyle Kubica on the left side just in case, but shortstop Josh Rutledge shifted over, but he goes airborne. And a long run and overrunning it, Daniel Robertson. Tough break for him. That's got to be a tough play, though, there, Pro, because you know you're going in to the bullpen where you've got varying elevations of dirt over there.
Yeah, you're not going to get any help either from the visiting team's bullpen. So you're going to have a long run, and then you got a couple of different levels. So, yeah, you get back on those heels a little bit.
You also have one of your teammates coming at you, and you got those chairs to deal with. So Anderson, who bunted his way on, now trying to swing for a base hit. And there you see a new pitcher for Salt Lake City.
Alex Sanabia on the hill right now.
And is the third pitcher for Salt Lake tonight.
Sinker, slider, change.
Now the shift pays off. And there's one out. And minus the shift, Doug, I think that's a base hit.
No doubt. Hit that ball right on the button. Anderson, obviously a pull hitter. I think one of the questions I got last week was, how about scouting reports? And well, you know, with social media as it is today, and your scouts out everywhere, it's pretty easy to get scout reports on almost everybody playing at any level.
Sanabia, one of the newer Salt Lake City Bees. And big rip. Off the wall, Matt Carson with a double. Boy, you talk about turning on a pitch.
Well, he did. Got one of those sinkers a little bit inside. Rips it down the left field line.
Just under the belt, and he belted
Wow,
it.
good swing.
So he reaches for the third time tonight, does Matt Carson. The number 8 hitter reached on an error hit by a pitch, now a double. Anthony Aliotti, the number 9 hitter, struck out, grounded into a double play. Sanabia from San Diego spent last season with New Orleans and Reno, split time in AAA baseball. 6'2", 210. We've been tied since the third inning.
Well, kind of an unusual setup there before he goes to the plate. You don't see too many pitchers that close their stance as much as Sanabia does.
Can't remember the last time I saw one that pronounced. But it's whatever makes you comfortable.
Yeah. And I'm sure there's a reason doing it. You see, he sets up good, and then once he gets his signs, he brings that left foot up very close to the same place. Oh, rip.
Chance for 2. Yes, sir. C.J. Crone to Josh Rutledge, and the Bees are out of the inning. Defense comes through again for Salt Lake City. We'll go to the 7th, tied at 2. It's the On Deck Minor League Baseball Game of the Week. It's 2-2, Salt Lake and Nashville here in the Music City. Dick Gabriel, Doug Flynn, and Doug's a happy guy. Ask and you shall receive.
I sure hope they don't show this on camera.
I believe
because I'd be so embarrassed if I were to they were caught me. But anyway,
I like your chances. Oh yes, he's trying the smoked chicken nachos, and what's great about these is you got your vegetables mixed right in. You got a little corn, you got some onions, you got some green onions. Man, they smell good too. Why don't you call the game and I'll.
How do you not like coming to a night at the ballpark? You feed you got excitement, you got great baseball, you have wonderful guests. Folks, some of the best entertainment dollars that you could ever get is going to watch these kids play that are all busting to trying to get back to the big leagues.
Although not everybody gets a private concert with the Gatlins. Two of the original
original
Gatlins,
ones.
yes.
That's what's impressive.
Don't be fooled by imitation Gatlins. Oh, man, we're having a great time here at First Tennessee Park. Alex Yarbrough leading things off, trying to get started in the series, much less the game here in Nashville. Yarbrough 0 for 11, 7 strikeouts in this series in the Music City, including the 2 tonight. Bees jumped out to the early lead. Sounds catch up. And Fuller's back on the bump for Nashville, but it looks like there may be some action in the offing in the Nashville bullpen. Started off with a lot of action offensively by both teams, and as we say that, a base hit. Yarbrough finally off the schneid in this series, but then it turned into something of a pitcher's duel and some good defense. A couple of double plays helped out.
You know, the last inning, it's good reaction by the shortstop. Of course, the first baseman catches it. The runner's going to try to get that go-ahead run in. Got a little too far off. They double him at second. And with all the pitchers we're seeing tonight, there's one who we know very well that we may not see. I think he pitched last night, young Trevor Gott from our hometown.
Yep, out of Lexington, Kentucky.
Has his family here.
Came up within the last week to AAA Salt Lake. And if they need a fireballer, they just may turn to young Mr. Gott as you get a good look at Kyle Kubica. Good night so far. Had the double back in the first inning, but was stranded. Drew a walk in the third. Rounded to short his last time up. You know, you wonder, will we see any more shifting? Haven't seen much shifting tonight out of Nashville. One of the hotter hitters for Salt Lake City of late has been Jet Bandy. Boy, past the diving Joey Wendle in the big turn by Yarbrough. So now the Bees are suddenly back in business offensively. Runners at the corners and nobody out. Boy, Kubica just fought that off, didn't he?
Well, he did. And then ball was hit. Wendle got a pretty good jump on it, but the ball went right under his glove. You see him stays back. Boy, he keeps those hands there. Just a good-looking hitter.
Yeah, we mentioned action in the bullpen, and the Nashville bullpen has come to life as Anderson goes to buy time for the bullpen. Angel Castro loosening. Here's Angel. We saw him last year. He pitched for Sacramento and Memphis as he came over in a trade with the St. Louis Cardinals, and now pitching in the Angels chain.
You remember that pitcher we talked about that can sometimes run it up to 96 and 97?
Yep.
That would be Castro.
That's
Taking
correct.
a good look at him. Boy, big, powerful looking kid.
So a mound visit, buying time for Castro to get loose. And Fuller will try to minimize damage here. Sounds also talking some defense during that last break in the action. So from the looks of their defensive setup, they will cede the run and try to get two. Here in the top of the 7th inning with nobody out, runners at the corners. There's a good look at the D. Outfield is deep for C.J. Cron, the cleanup hitter for Salt Lake City, 1 for 2 tonight. In limited at-bats, hitting 400 for Salt Lake, and he was trying to untie the game right there.
He
Coach.
certainly was. That was a big swing. And Fuller might be a little deceptive. He runs it up there about 91 or 92, and that time just a good hard fastball right back thrown.
Cron with an RBI single back in the 3rd, took 2nd on a balk. Also walked in the 1st.
We talked earlier in our keys to success about Cron and Jackson and, you know, figuring out that strike zone. And we're getting an opportunity here. This is a chance for him to really open this game up, be patient, get the pitch that he likes, and bust it.
Jammed him, and that'll fall harmlessly into the stand. Oh, nice catch by a lucky fan.
I think they still give contracts when you make plays like that.
That would be nice.
Nice play there, youngster.
C.J. Cron, twice the Mountain West Conference Player of the Year. And in college ball in 09, only player in the country to get 3 hits in a game off Steven Strasburg. Went on to be the #1 pick out of San Diego State.
I'll tell you, he's getting some pretty good pitches to hit.
Yep.
Just not able to get that bat. He's getting beat on the fastball right now, 92 miles an hour.
Thrown a 1st-round pick in 2011 out of the University of Utah, drafted out of high school in the 44th round by the White Sox. So another player who did well by staying in school. Fuller keeps trying to bust it inside.
They're trying to come that time, going to come in underneath those hands, hoping maybe to get a ground ball for a double play or to pop him up.
'79 games in the bigs last year for C.J. Cron.
See if this is a changeup this time. Looked like that's what he's called for. And it was changeup, and he had it in a pretty good location. Cron does a good job of fighting this ball off. Johnny Nairn said expand the strike zone, but don't expand it to the point where you're swinging at really lousy pitches. And that's easy to say, hard to do, but Cron's doing this as we look for the 8th pitch to come to him.
Nicely turned by the Sounds, but a run comes home for Salt Lake City, and it's a 3-2 game.
Well, you're absolutely correct. They do get the lead run, but a good job of getting the double play that time. Played very well by Wendle. He takes his time, gets it out of the glove, makes a perfect throw. And Roberts comes across, and they got an easy double play.
The pickup was the hard part.
Yep.
So now Ryan Jackson with the bases clear, 2 out. And a 3-2 Salt Lake City lead as the Bees retake the advantage. Jackson an infield single his last time up, 1 for 3. Also lined out the third back in the 3rd inning. Squared it up but hit it right at Matt Carson at 3rd. He changed speed, dropped it down to 77 miles an hour.
Yeah, that was that big breaking ball that he'll throw. Keeps his change up about 80. The slow curveball that time. And he throws a slider as well. But taking that much speed off it had Jackson way out in front.
I mentioned earlier the Bees like hitting left-handed pitchers. They bat nearly 300 against lefties. Nashville started a lefty tonight, Ryan Verdugo. Fuller, the 3rd pitcher of the night. Well, that run was the first one allowed by the Nashville bullpen in the last 23 innings. Yes, he went. That's strike 3. And the Bees are out of the inning, but they pick up a run on the double play, and they retake the lead. 3-2. It's the On Deck Minor League Baseball Game of the Week. Back in Nashville, Tennessee. First Tennessee Park. It's the Sounds trailing Salt Lake City 3-2. Dick Gabriel, Doug Flynn. They're having fun at the bandbox. Checking out the action on the big screen TVs. They can either watch our telecast or just turn around and watch it in person. Either way, they're having a good time. And so are we. If you just joined us, you missed the Gatlin brothers, 2 of them at least.
2 of the originals.
Singing with our own Doug Flynn, who's constantly threatening to sing.
That had to be a thrill for them, you know.
Well, it was a thrill for me. As Craig Gentry leads things off for the Sounds. Gentry, the leadoff hitter in the order, 2 for 3 tonight, scored a run.
You know, when you get a chance to do something like that, you take advantage of it, but it was sort of like when I was playing with the Reds. It doesn't matter how bad you are, they can make you look good.
Pete Rose, Johnny Bench, Joe Morgan, Tony Perez, they all did that, didn't they?
They really did. 40 years ago.
Wow. But you were the glue.
Yeah, yeah.
Held everything together. At
Kinda
least
like,
that's what you
like the cheese on those nachos right there.
What, the older it gets, the more congealed it is?
That's a fact. I don't know how long I can milk this bad boy, but we're going to try. You can get a good look at that ball movement. It's just really sinks. He's got a great sink on these pitches. And having a little trouble locating a guy like this. Many times you want to put that mitt in the middle of the plate and let him throw to that because you know the ball's going to be moving left or right.
Herman on for his 2nd inning of work, actually his 3rd against Nashville. Off speed, but right at Kubica.
Woo, good hose there.
1 out. Kind of had to unleash it, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Very fast runner in Gentry getting down the line, but
And the ball not hit too sharply.
no, and he just took his time, and boy came up and threw a seed. We've seen how good he's been on offense, and you know, got to be a little impressed with that defense as well.
Joey Wendle, 1 for 2 in RBI. Singled in the 5th, had a ground ball that drove in a run back in the 3rd. Bees have had to go to their bullpen, had to go in the 5th inning. Just missing down and in. It is throwback night here, and with a nod to that, every now and then you take a look at the scoreboard. It shows up black and white. They warned us ahead of time to make sure that we knew they were going black and white, so it's not malfunctioning. So just another nice touch here at First Tennessee Park. On the button and just past Alex Yarbrough for a base hit. So Wendle with his second hit of the game. First to left, now to right. Announced attendance tonight, 10,610. Largest crowd of the year, clearly knowing that the Gatlins and Doug Flynn were performing. The 5th sellout of the season, including opening day. A lot of fans taking in the action up on the berm. That's a great place. A lot of ballparks now including berms in their design. That was actually ruled an error. Interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting. He did not play the ball the best it could be played. It was kind of a hooking line drive, but it's still a tough error to have to soak up.
Second error of the night by Salt Lake City. Sounds only 2 runs were unearned. And now Ryan Roberts looking for his 3rd base hit of the night. RBI single back in the 3rd, just cleared the mitt of the leaping Josh Rutledge. And a single to left.
Boy, he just looks like the kind of player that you'd love to have on your team. Gritty, gets down, but he's very good as well. Plays a steady shortstop, swings that bat, got him hitting in the 3rd hole.
He's a veteran. Trying to battle his way back to the majors.
There's so many guys playing out on this field tonight. Had a taste of it. Once you get a taste of the big leagues, you certainly don't want to have to spend the rest of your career here. Although they're paying guys a little bit better, and if you love the game, it sure beats work.
Frank Herman pitched last season in Columbus, made 28 appearances for the Clippers, the Indians AAA team. Signed a minor league deal in the offseason. He's another good sized athlete, 6'4", 220, 30 years old, from Rutherford, New Jersey. Used primarily in short relief last year. And again, Cutler with a good job of keeping the runner at base. Bees put up single runs in the 2nd, 3rd, and 7th. Sounds put up both of those unearned runs we mentioned in the 3rd inning.
Got action down in the bullpen again for the Sounds. Ryan Cook getting loosened up. Good look at big Ryan Cook. Another one of those fireballers. I guess it's true. I guess about everybody now that you see, especially at AAA level, can get it up there somewhere in the mid-90s.
One of the guys we'd love to see at some point, if he's available, is Pat Venditti for Nashville. He is a switch pitcher, has a 6-fingered glove. Had him leaning, but not too far off the bag. Ever seen a 6-fingered glove?
You know, I can't recollect that I have.
The only one I've ever seen that I can recall is in The Princess Bride. Bad guy had a 6-fingered glove.
That's true.
Not a 6-fingered hand. Things did not turn out too well for him.
I retract my statement, then I guess I have seen one before.
Here's the 2-2. Right at Daniel Robertson. And there are 2 out.
Boy, just
you had to
solid.
like that when you heard it, yeah.
Yeah, that ball had a different ring to it.
Boom.
Boy, he sits right on it and just hammers it to left field. And unfortunately, that guy's been playing there for a long time.
He thought that was at least in the gap. Frankly, I did too, but Robertson had him play perfectly. And now Jason Pridey with the tying run at first, trying to do some damage. 1 for 3, couple of strikeouts, an infield single. He hammers it. Robertson's on the move, but plenty of real estate left for out number 3. The helmet gets the brunt of the damage. 3-2 Salt Lake City. It's a 3-2 Salt Lake City lead. Kyle Kubica 2 for 3, a big night for the Bees. A double puts him on top of the PCL. Roger Kieschnick with a home run earlier. Craig Gentry having a big night. So is Ryan Roberts, but the home team is down by 1 here in Nashville. Dick Gabriel, Doug Flynn, so glad to have you along. Salt Lake City will try to extend its lead here in the 8th inning. And there you see a new pitcher for the Sounds of Nashville.
Now here's a guy who can get it up there. Ryan Cook throws the ball hard. All-star in 2012. Here's a guy that throws 94 to 97. He throws all the pitches, fastball, slider, good changeup. You throw that hard though, we'll probably see a lot of fastballs.
Came over in a trade with Arizona back in 2011. Split time last year between Oakland and Class A Stockton. Trying to work his way back to all-star form. 6'2", 217 from Clovis, California. Trouble finding the plate early in the at-bat of Josh Rutledge. He's already drawn 1 walk tonight, otherwise 0 for 2. Played a solid shortstop tonight. Rutledge, one of those guys trying to get back to the bigs. He had a taste of it, as Doug said. And
about a little 95-mile-an-hour gas right down Broadway.
that'll work. Tried to get the outside edge, but instead Rutledge leads off the inning with a walk. So not what you want to do, obviously, if you're trying to keep your team within 1 run late in the ball game. And it looks like the Salt Lake bullpen will come alive. They've lost. Go ahead.
No, Vinny Pastano was up a few minutes ago and then kind of sat down, relaxed a little bit. So he's kind of playing a little long toss right now and surveying the situation to see what happens.
Roger Kieschnick homered back in the 2nd inning. Seems like a long time ago.
This kid's got a great arm. He's just having trouble controlling it. 96 on that one. Just having a little issues right now with mechanics, finding the plate.
Kieschnick with a good season going, as you can see. Couldn't catch up to that one. Wow.
Yeah, he's
96.
That's some good gas. And good location on it too. See that ball moving away on the outside part of the plate.
One pitch. Ran that one in a little bit. Kieschnick with a comebacker in the 3rd inning. Grounded to second base back in the 6th. From Dallas, Texas. Trying to run it down and in on the left-hander, not a bad idea. Kieschnick last year spending 25 games up with the Arizona Diamondbacks. Spent the rest of the year in Reno, where he hit 11 home runs.
You know, sometimes you can pick up a little bit from body language, and when you look at Cook right now, you can see he's a little disgusted, as if he can't really find that arm slot that he's been looking for.
Runner goes, and on hit and run, the Bees will have runners at 1st and 3rd as Rutledge was moving on the pitch. Nice piece of hitting by Kieschnick with his second base hit of the night.
Well, you're absolutely right. You got a pitcher that's kind of struggling, so it's either going to be a ball or he's probably going to get a decent pitch to hit. That time he got one that he could chop through the hole with the runner going. Once again, the Bees are in position to play some add-on.
Nobody out. There you see Anderson communicating with his fellow defenders. Last time they played for the double play up the middle, and that's how the Bees scored another run. But Nashville can't afford to give up any more. Gary Brown looking to play a little small ball.
Now, that was sacrifice all the way. That wasn't a squeeze or it wasn't a bunt and run. That was just a straight sacrifice, trying to get that runner to second.
There you see Kieschnick. He's a nephew of a former big league player, Brooks Kieschnick. Nobody out here in the 8th inning. Not sure what the fans are upset about on that last pitch.
You know, it's getting so now that if you do anything different, it's balk or they'll find something to holler. And you know, as long as they're having fun. I mean, we've had a ball tonight, and you can see still a lot of people here watching this ball game. Breaking ball.
Gets the inside edge. Jumps out ahead, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Sometimes when you're struggling with that one pitch, whether it be your fastball or breaking ball, come back with another.
Yep.
This time he throws that little breaking ball right over the heart of the plate.
Brown got 7 games with the Giants last year. Otherwise, spent the rest of the year in Fresno. One of the towns we visited last season. Ten home runs last year for the Fresno Giants.
We'll have to get a new one on that one. You could hear it from up here.
Oh, yeah.
Got it off the end of the bat. A very good pitcher's pitch, and he was there just trying to put it in play. He knows if he gets a ground ball, and the infielders have moved in now. They were at double play position. Shortstop has moved in to cut off the run. Second baseman back about normal for double play. But Roberts has moved in. And I like the move, you know, with 2 out or 2 strikes on the hitter, he won't be taking a full swing.
Boy, Anderson did a magnificent job of saving a run right there. Ryan Cook is on the Oakland 40-man roster. So you may see him up in the bigs before too long, if, as Doug said, he can get a handle on his control. 2-2.
Ow. That sounded like some skin right there.
Now just trying to stay alive. 0 for 3 on the night. Some of the fans have made their way home here from First Tennessee, but boy, they're not leaving the bandbox.
Well, this is a really good at bat by Brown.
It sure is.
Fouling off tough pitches, taking pitches that are off the plate. He's doing a good job so far.
There's the bandbox with a great crowd still on hand. A lot of disciplined at bats on both sides tonight. Off the fists, and they're going to come home. Spencer Flynn takes a spill and comes up to make the call. Rutledge didn't like it. Neither did Dave Anderson.
No, there's going to be a conversation. It's going to be close. It's just a matter of where Anderson was when he made the tag. Good hard throw. He's got the plate blocked. He may have a little bit of argument.
Did he get the hand down?
That's the question. If the hand hits the plate before that tag gets him on the side, I don't know. I think he got him on the back of the arm.
I think he did.
Well, that's just a good play all around by Wendle. He's got it.
The hand might have gotten there. I don't know.
Yep.
But as it stands, 1 out. Runners at first and second.
Of course, we will not see a challenge here in the minor leagues.
So the play goes 4-2.
I tell you, Rutledge showed some good speed that time.
He did.
There was no hesitation on Wendle to get it and go home with it.
Same spot. A double play gets him out of the inning, and that ain't going to happen, friends. What a slide. Now the out at second, but a run does score for Salt Lake City on literally a bang-bang play at second. So the Bees with a 2-run lead as we go to the bottom of the 8th. It's the On Deck Minor League Baseball game of the week. Salt Lake with a 4-2 lead now, going to the bottom of the 8th inning. Dick Gabriel, Doug Flynn, and Doug, I'm not sure if we had more contact at the plate when the umpire went down or at second base.
I tell you, well, this is when the ball gets by, and you can see the hitters going to second. There's a throw, and they got him in plenty of time. The slide at second base was really a hard one, and Roberts let the ball go. There's the tag towards the end. I tell you what, there was some good base running that time by the Bees. They were able to get another run in there. Of course, that run is going to be huge now, as hard as runs have been to come by tonight.
Now we'll take another look at the first part of that play because, like I said, there was some contact at second base that really made it happen.
Oh, yeah, here's a ground ball. You see a good hard slide right there. Roberts trying to jump over it, makes a bad throw. Clean slide. It's going to let another run come in there. They get the double play. They don't give up the run.
Clean but hard.
Clean but hard.
Second base. So now the Bees turn things over to this young man, Vinny Pistano, out of Newport Beach, California, 30 years old.
You said that with a little flair.
Oh, man, you got to love it. 6 feet, 200 pounds. There you see his numbers. Really just getting started here. Spent last year between the Bigs and AAA ball. He was with the Indians and spent time in Columbus. And moved on to the Angels organization, 12 games up with LA before coming to Salt Lake. This was late in the season.
What they've been working with him with is a little more 3/4, and he's almost sidearm now. You can see he can be nasty.
Different arm slot. But Nate Freeman hammers it right at Daniel Robertson. He's hauled in a lot of hits like that tonight, or a lot of fly balls, I should say.
The ball hit right on the button, but not going to get much out there.
3 straight fly balls pulled in by Robertson now off the bat of Nashville hitters. Kent Mathis 0 for 3. A couple of ground balls. They caught him looking last time up. Need to say special thanks to the broadcasters for the 2 respective teams. Tom Callahan for the Sounds, actually filling in for Jeff Hem tonight. Tom ordinarily is a hockey guy. Steve Klauke from Salt Lake City. Had a chance to meet him last year as C.J. Crone draws a beat, 2 out. And our congrats to Steve for being named the Utah Sportscaster of the Year by the National Sports Writers Sportscasters Association. Voters in the state of Utah has won it for the 2nd time, and also was named by Baseball Digest the top broadcaster in minor league baseball.
Wow. It couldn't be any more.
Been a good year for Steve.
It has, and every time we run into him, boy, he just opens up and lets us have so much knowledge and stats about the players.
Loves what he's doing in Salt Lake. Anderson hammers it, but guess who? So Robertson squeezes to end the inning number 8. We'll go to the 9th. It's the Bees leading the Sounds 4-2. The the On Deck Minor League Baseball Game of the Week. Back in Nashville, it's the On Deck Minor League Baseball Game of the Week. So glad to have you along at First Tennessee Park on a gorgeous night for baseball. It's been a good game. A lot of interesting plays. We've seen defense. We've seen sporadic offense, but sporadic thanks to the outstanding pitching by both teams. And Angel Castro back on the hill for the Sounds from Pimentel, the Dominican Republic. Not sure if I pronounced that right. You traveled that part of the world a little bit. Did I get that right?
Yeah, I'm mostly Venezuela, but it's, you know, here these kids, and he's not a kid, but this guy's got a great arm.
Yep.
I mean, he's a fastball slider change guy, but can get it up there to well above mid-90s.
Daniel Robertson leading things off for the Bees in the top of the 9th inning. And we mentioned in the 8th they'd like some insurance, and they got it. The bottom of the order provided a run. Robertson represents the top of the order, and he's 2 for 3 tonight with a double, a run scored, and has been a busy, busy man out in left field. From Fontana, California, part of the Rangers organization last year. Played 70 games in Arlington. Split time between Round Rock and El Paso. Jeremy McBride is loosening in the Salt Lake City bullpen. Perhaps we'll try to nail things down. Quite a beard that Castro has going.
Yeah, they all do. Good looking ones too.
Did not offer, says the umpiring crew. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Now Castro's listed at 5'11", 200.
All right, I'm not buying either one of those.
It's kind of a CC Sabathia looking kind of guy. And cannot field his position, but
pretty
gets a little bit of help from Ryan Roberts. And there's 1 out.
That's pretty. He thought that ball was hit a lot harder. Instead of having a little fun laughing right now with Ryan Roberts and thanking him. But he kind of reaches for the ball and not a whole lot of hops there. Roberts does a good job coming across, fielding all in one motion. That'll go 1 to 6 to 3.
If you're scoring with us, and
if you're scoring,
we know a lot of you are. So Alex Yarbrough now singled, scored a run back in the 7th, and led off the inning with a base hit. Came around to scoring a double play. Leadoff man reached in the 8th inning for Salt Lake and scored. Couldn't quite stop.
Well, throws a change up the first pitch and then comes back with that fastball up around his eyes.
Yarbrough from Allen, Texas. Castro tries to run it in on the lefty. They go right at their hands, don't they?
That's where you're supposed to throw, right underneath those hands. You know when I figured that out?
Too late?
About a year ago.
Well, now you played with Pete Rose. You had to learn something from him about hitting.
Yeah, I learned that I couldn't and he could.
Joey Wendle with a play. 2 out.
Think about Pete. He thought everybody was supposed to hit. Came so easy.
Yeah.
Of course, he worked very hard at it, but he didn't understand why guys struggled.
Well, when he was managing, too, I always wondered, was he one of those great hitters who really couldn't teach the game because he had so much natural ability, but then on the other hand, he worked so hard to make himself a great hitter.
He did, and he knows the game. Matter of fact, he said when his kid was playing when it comes to hitting, he called him up and said, Dad, I'm really struggling. I'm 0 for 21. And Pete said, what are you calling me for? Call Concepcion. The worst I've ever been is 0 for 8.
Kyle Kubica 2 for 3, a double, a walk tonight. Talked about the fact that he's a better hitter statistically when he's playing third base as opposed to the DH, and that number is going to climb, isn't it?
It really is. 300 when he's playing third and 230 when he's the DH, which he's only done for 10 games. So he feels more at home when he's not pacing the dugout, waiting for the bat, but out on the field being a part of the mix.
I've heard a lot of players say the same thing. Drives them crazy. Then you have other guys who have made a career out of being a DH, and they know how to mentally adjust to that.
They do, and they figured out real quick that that's how they can stay in the game a little longer.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
For a kid like this that can still play some defense, even when you give him a day off, you really don't want him off. So you put him in there as a DH.
You don't see many youngsters at the minor league level who are simply wed to being a DH. They like to get him out there, play defense. It gives them so many more options in terms of moving them from team to team up to the big team, and maybe even if you have to trade them.
And you know that can
to
be
a National League team.
It can be good and bad. Sometimes it might be better to identify somebody that's not a very good defensive player. Then he can just help you hitting.
Snagged by Aliotti at first. And that'll do it. We'll go to the bottom of the ninth. The Sounds need 2 to keep playing. It's the On Deck Minor League Baseball Game of the Week.
Minor League Baseball on CBS Sports Network is being brought to you by On Deck, a leading provider of small business loans nationwide. Visit OnDeck.com to see how On Deck can take your business to the next level.
Back in Nashville, where the Sounds are trailing 4-2, and Jeremy McBride is on the hill now for Salt Lake City to try to close things out for the Bees. He is 6 for 7 in save opportunities, and in fact, Salt Lake's win on Tuesday here, he earned the save, going 1 inning and retired the side in order. Matt Carson will try to get things going, and here's a good look at the numbers for the fireballing right-hander. How about 94?
On back-to-back pitches.
Yep. On in relief of Frank Herman. What a job he did holding Nashville at bay, really stealing the momentum. C.J. Cron giving chase and runs out of room. Herman went 4 scoreless innings, gave up just 3 hits. Struck out the side in the 5th inning. That was the only inning in which he had any strikeouts. Cron covered a lot of ground.
He sure did. Looks like he's going to make this play. Just got a little fence shy. Tried to short arm that just a little bit. One more step and he's got it.
And once again, nobody helping over there.
Oh, of course not.
His teammates might have been able to yell a little bit from the dugout. But so Carson stays alive. Doubled his last time up.
Well, actually, they have 2 runs tonight, but both of those are unearned.
Yep.
So the pitching has been quite good for this Bees team tonight.
On the button, and Rutledge can't make the play.
Well, he got to it good. Looked like he tried to do it with one hand, and he was trying to make the transfer to his throwing hand. The ball just popped right out. You see him get to it. Ball hits on his heel.
Yeah.
Must have come up on him just a little bit.
So now Anthony Aliotti hit into a double play twice and struck out.
Well, if you're Josh Rutledge, that's what you're hoping for, is to redemptify yourself, the little ground ball double play.
I beg your pardon?
Redemptify.
All right, sir.
You were an English major, right?
No.
Oh. Is that not a word?
I was a journalism major.
Is that not a word?
It is now. I would copyright that sucker. I'd
Well,
trademark
let me ask you this.
I would I know exactly what you meant.
Thank you.
There you go. And I was going to say, as a journalism major, I could think of a lot of ways to work it into a sentence. But the way you did it, that's the best way.
Yeah. Well, our guys in the booth checked it out.
Yeah.
They Googled it, and it's already been patented.
Oh, rats.
There was a guy back in '79, I think, Duke Gonzalez.
Oh.
I liked it.
There goes your shot at riches.
I know. I mean, I thought it was a
You
great
could
word, and I'd never heard it before or used. Maybe it's because a lot of folks didn't.
Outstanding.
Thank you.
Just outstanding. Error number 3 on the night for Salt Lake, and our man Eric Moyer tells us first time Salt Lake has committed 3 errors in a game this season.
Wow.
But as you said, Josh Rutledge would love to be a part of a double play right here in the ninth. Aliotti now may get something to hit.
All you're looking for is guys to put good at bats on, right? It's your last time around. Everybody put a good at bat on. Turn this order over with. Let the top get up here and start making something happen.
Aliotti had a good at bat last time as he cranked it right to the first baseman Crone, who doubled a man off second base. Easy double play.
Good swing, getting a good pitch.
Aliotti, Concord, California. Split time between Sacramento and Midland last year. Here's the 3-2. Souvenir time. Oh, that one nailed somebody in the bullpen. It hit a seat and bounced back. Bees jumped out to a 2-0 lead after 2.5. Sounds tied it up. And a lot of goose eggs until the 7th. And in fact, Salt Lake with back-to-back runs in the 7th and the 8th to take a 4-2 lead. Tying run at the plate.
Boy, making him throw some pitches, doing a good job here. I don't know if that couldn't be a slider, but his fastball, which started out about 94, now has dropped a couple of miles per hour, maybe because he's trying to aim it, doesn't want to walk this guy. You have to be careful, though, when you do that.
So be pitch number 8 in this at bat. And we'll go for 9. But again, just an outstanding at bat for Aliotti.
He's worked him out in the end, but he's doing a good job of fighting those pitches off.
Sounds would at least like to get this thing into extras.
We see the outfield playing very deep in no doubles mode.
Yep. About as deep as they've played all night. And that's ball 4, first and second now. Tying run at first. And the top of the order due up.
If Gentry had a couple of hits, had the first hit for this ball club, now has a couple. You're going to ask him to get runners over, which look down at manager Steve Scarsoni at third base, a longtime player. Had a good career in the big leagues. We've seen him a couple of years in a row. Down at third base now. I tell you what, my hat's off to these guys that coach these ball clubs.
Yep.
They put endless, I mean, they're here at the park at noon. They don't get home till midnight. It's every day doing it to try to help kids fulfill their dreams.
So the top of the order.
Good look at Steve.
Stands in as Scarsoni has decided what he wants to do. Will they let Gentry hit? The Bees believe they're going to be looking at a bunt. Crone and Kubica are both crashing from the corners.
Well, if you execute right, bunt at the third. Oh, had him swinging away.
You've got a chance if you can get it down on the third base side, because Rutledge is at double play depth up the middle, so it would be a foot race between him and Matt Carson.
Yeah, you watch him. They're all watching the bat. They're going now. You watch guys start moving. As soon as that bat goes to the bunt position, everybody should have somewhere to go, and that includes the outfielders, really.
I guess this year they would let Carson have third base. Take a good look at second.
Well, your third baseman's going to stay back. If the ball's bunted right at the pitcher, he's going to cover the bag. If not, he's got to come and at least get it out.
They force the pitcher to make the play, and he does. Successful sacrifice for Craig Gentry.
That's the way you do it. Just in a great bunt position. You see him have this bat out. Boy, just lets the ball come to him like you're trying to catch it with your hand. Deadens it. Nice job.
So the tying run at second for Joey Wendle with one out here in the bottom of the ninth inning. When it comes to extra inning games, the Sounds were part of a record tying effort. In 06, they played 24 innings with New Orleans, tying the PCL record for the longest game.
Backdoor slide.
How about that? Start him off with an 85-mile-an-hour slider.
Did they tie the record that Paul Tuckett has? Was it Paul Tuckett?
Different league. They have the they tie the PCL record.
That's right. Paul Tuckett's in the international league, right?
That's 33 innings.
Wow.
In the gap, but Robertson on the move. And that forces Carson to stay home at third.
Well, that's just a base running mistake there.
Yep.
I mean, if you're hitting, you take away an RBI, and you look here and you wonder why Carson. You got one thing to do when that ball's hit. You're going to score easy. Why are you going? Well, you get a good look at the indecision right there, and that's just a mistake. This ball is smoked, and you can see it's hooking right back to left field to Daniel Robertson.
So now it's up to Ryan Roberts. Let's see if he can tattoo one into the gap and tie this game.
I tell you, this is a guy that I'd want at the plate.
Yep.
He's put on some really good at-bats. Lined out to left field, got a couple of hits, lined out to center field.
RBI single in the third. 2 outs, 2 on. Bottom of the ninth. Off speed, frozen. 86 miles an hour.
Yeah, that's a slider, and that's when you're throwing 94, 95, and then you come back with a slide piece like that on the outside part of the plate. That's almost impossible to hit. If I'm a pitcher sitting up here, I'm thinking, what a great pitch. If I'm a hitter, I'm thinking, that's outside. But that was nasty any way you looked at it. Another one.
And now McBride is 1 strike away.
Boy, he's just geared up. That's just, if he's going to get a good slider to hit, that may be the one. That's right across the middle of the plate.
So now does he try to get him to chase or blow it by him?
Well, if you're going to throw a fastball, you better get it inside off of that plate. If it's a breaking ball, get it out of the way.
McBride will take care of things himself and racks up his 2nd save of the week. The Sounds put the tying run on base, but cannot chase him home. And that'll do it here in Nashville. The Bees take it by a final of 4-2 at First Tennessee Park. We'll be back to wrap things up on a moonlit night in the Music City. The Bees bounce back from last night's loss. 4-2, and that'll do it. That's it from Nashville, Tennessee. For Doug Flynn and our entire crew, I'm Dick Gabriel. Coming up next, World's Strongest Man Archives. It's been a great night in Tennessee, and we thank everybody who's helped us here at First Tennessee Park. This has been a presentation of CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. That's it. Good night from Nashville.